Hey, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of the Outlaw Nation Show here on the Outlaw Nation channel. This is our flagship show. That's why we call it the Outlaw Nation Show. And it is live every Tuesday night, most of the times from 6 to 8, sometimes from 7 to 9, depending on my guest's availability. And I'll introduce my guest in just a second. Just want to say thank you all so much for being a part of the Outlaw Nation. Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for sharing the shows that you do, all the likes that you leave, all the comments that you leave, all of that helping the Outlaw Nation to get bigger and bigger and bring more and more people aboard. We're about to cross 14,000 subscribers to the Outlaw Nation. And maybe tonight, maybe we'll get those extra 3 that we need to cross right now. The 14,000 mark, start heading towards 15,000. So much going on in the Outlaw Nation. So much happening this week. Of course, we had game time yesterday. If you haven't watched that, me, Jay, and my guest, Winston A. Marshall, we're on there talking about NFL Week 2 stuff. This morning, we had Mornings with the Outlaw, me and Alex Shawshak talking about all kinds of things like Tom Brady, the Watchmen, getting into a little bit of Florence Pugh and Black Widow and the comments she had to make, and some of the Alden Ehrenreich comments about Solo as well. That was a lot of fun. Of course, the Top 10 show dropped their new show this morning as well. We did the top 10 films from 1982. So if you want to watch that, you can go to the YouTube channel for the top 10 or download it off the podcast stream there for the top 10 show. Yesterday or over the weekend, we did a live stream of the Cinephiles. So if you haven't listened to that, Steve and I got on there on the Cinephiles YouTube channel, and we talked and answered questions from the fans and talked about what we got coming up, which has to do with my guest as well. We'll get to it in just one more second. And also one last thing. What do we got going on? We got something else going on. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jedi Way is coming up this week. Don't miss it. Laura Kelly and I are going to have a conversation about The Mandalorian Season 1. We're going to talk about what made it work, why it resonated with so many Star Wars fans, and then get into what we might be seeing here in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. So something fun there. And don't forget Thursday night, Impolite Truths, our politics show. It's been going nuts over the last 2 weeks in the world of politics, and me and Dorina Arellano are holding on to 2 wild horses, trying to make sure we can get them into the corral and have this conversation with you. 7 p.m. Thursday night live as well. And don't forget our wrestling show, Strong Style, happening on Friday as well. Me and Aaron Turner shooting the crap about all things going on in the world of wrestling. All right, anyway, let's get into tonight. Tonight is the Outlaw Nation Show, and tonight I am very happy to welcome as my guest one half of Blurs in the Hood, 1/3 of Game Time, but all himself, the premier manager of the Schmoedown, at this point, the odds-on favorite to win Manager of the Year. He's an actor. He's a pundit. He's a reviewer. He's a guy that makes you laugh, and you see him pop up in so many different things. Incredibly talented guy, and he's just starting his ascendancy to stardom, and I'm very happy to, A, call him my friend, B, call him my colleague, and C, call him my guest tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the one and only Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
I don't think in a million years I will ever get a nicer fucking intro ever. I didn't even ask if I could swear. I just assumed.
Please, of
one
course.
way or the other.
Yeah.
I just, oh fuck, man. That was to quote Roxy.
Oh.
Like earlier today, like, well, you want me to suck your dick or something? Like what? Like what is going on?
I'm sure I won't be the last to be complimentary to you and introduce you on to a show, man. So I'm very happy to have you on. I'm excited to talk with you and catch up with you and all the things that's going on. Because I mean, we talk sports, but like catching up and talking about life, we don't always do that. So I'm excited to do that on the show today. And you wore your best denim shirt, which I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Got a little, I mean, look, man, if I was gonna be on the Outlaw Nation, I mean, I could have put on my boots too, but I felt a little ridiculous being in my own home. I don't want to, like, as nice as they look, I don't want to just sit here and make my arches just hate me for nothing. But you know, if we're gonna line dance through this, I'll be more than happy to do that. I don't even mind.
Hell yeah. We're gonna drip all over this thing. So many of you all are chiming in already. Thank you. We got 60 all watching us live. A, don't forget to hit that like button. And B, remember, Streamlabs and SuperChats are how the Outlaw Nation stays alive. So tonight, show Winston some love. Send in some Streamlabs. Send in some SuperChats. asking him questions about his world, about his life, about the Schmoedown, about what he loves in movies, what franchise he's into, all that stuff. We're going to cover all of it with Winston A. Marshall. So you see right above Winston's head is the Streamlabs address there. And of course, those of you who know how to send in super chats, you can send them in right there. But let's get into Winston. What is the current state of your life right now? I know we do the show Game Time, but I also know it feels like the auditions have started to spike up for you recently, and you seem to be on the go constantly. Is that how it feels right now in your life?
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, things are a little in flux right now as far as like there are things in everyday life that are stressing me the F out. So
yeah.
Since I moved into this place, April 1st, I believe.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. And so, it's funny when I came to check it out, the sweetest old lady who was the building manager here, and unfortunately she passed a few months ago.
No.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of crazy. I mean, but we had an immediate kind of kinship. And when I came in, she had two foggers in the middle of the room. And I was like, what's that about? And she's like, oh, well, when we don't have people in a space for a period of time, like we want to make sure that we don't end up having any. It's like there's nothing going on. We just want to be sure.
Right.
Should have took that as a sign that it was actually a problem. Because the issue is I moved in, and I'm a person that's messy, but I'm sanitary.
Right.
So I'm very much about like cleaning the kitchen every night and cleaning my bathroom every 2 weeks, changing my sheets every 2 weeks. Like stuff like that, but this is an older building. And I asked my neighbor, she's like, oh shit, I've been here since 2011. We had Rocha since 2011. I ain't like, no matter how many times we fumigate this bitch, there's just always a problem. So I hit my wit's end, because before it was like, I would see one, maybe a day.
Yeah. Wow.
Once the heat wave hit, no bed bugs. Thank God, no bed bugs. But once the heat wave hit, I would see somewhere between 5 and 20 a day.
Wow.
And they're not massive ones. They're not them Texas cockroaches. They're no bigger than like maybe that. Okay. But it doesn't fucking matter. If you're in there cooking, the last thing you want to see is a fucking roach run by. And I'm like, I keep cleaning this bitch and it's not doing anything. No. So I finally tracked down my current building manager, is her daughter. And I was like, hey, I need somebody to come up and do something. Like, this is getting out of hand. And so they were supposed to be here at 6 this morning, didn't show up. Then I got a call, I'll be there at 9. And I was upset about not coming at 6 because A, I woke up, but B, I had to do SCN. And you have to be out of your building for at least 3 to 4 hours before you can go back in.
Right.
So I was like, all right, fine. Come at 9. I called my buddy. I was like, I'm going to come. Can I come to your house and stream? And he was like, yeah, sure. So then it's 9, nothing. Then it's 9:15, nothing. Then it's 9:30, nothing. And I'm like, I have to fucking go. I won't make it to his place in time. I leave for his place. I get a phone call. I show up to SCN at like 10:15. I get a phone call at like 10:20. Like, hey, so they're not coming today. They can come at like between 4 and 6 this evening, or they can come tomorrow at 8 a.m. between 8 and 10. And I was like, fine, just have them come 4 or 6. She's like, just a reminder, you can't be home until probably 10 or 11 if you do that. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Send him tomorrow then. So, like, as you can see, all of my shit is just thrown on my bed. I gotta deal with that. Same, it's either on my bed or in my bathtub.
Right.
So I gotta deal with that shit. So, like, it's little things like that. You know what I'm saying? And like my mom, she's fine, but we think she may have slipped a disc. Like, we're worried about that, and like, being a dog dad is a whole thing, and the auditions have been coming. I have been booking stuff, which has been dope. But it's not a consistent job. It's not like I booked a series regular or guest star. So like, it's a good check for a minute, but it's not life changing. It's not like, cool, your bills are covered for the month or the next couple of months. It's like, cool, here's half of your monthly bills.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the way life is going, but I would certainly love to have something just open up and really change shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you've been working towards it, Winston. I see you doing more shows. I see you like really honing your skills, getting in front of the camera, doing more things. Obviously, you've booked things in the past. We've seen you in commercials. We've seen you on TV. You just recently shot not Blackish, but what was the other one you just shot? Superstore, right? You just shot Superstore, putting it all over social media. That was positive stuff. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that probably didn't book a thing this year. So to get something in this COVID situation, I know it's tough because it's not a consistent thing, but it is something that you can hang your hat on at least.
Oh, for sure. And I would never, what's the old saying? You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I would never knock any of the accomplishments that I pulled this year, because there are people that sadly didn't figure shit out and are getting evicted right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like wild shit like that. St. Mark's, wait a minute.
I don't know.
Who knows about St. Mark's?
Uh-oh.
That's no. I used to. That's a long story, but I used to go to school there. I don't recognize Dalton Johnson, but
this guy know you?
It's so random.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, maybe he does. You'll have to give me some more context. But yeah, one of the things that happened is all this shit cracked down at the same time. Right. I booked a Budweiser commercial this year.
Oh, cool.
And it happened the same day I ran my first 5K. And I got this apartment. I officially dropped off my deposit and picked up my keys. So it was like a big fucking day.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, my mind was just kind of blown on like how that happened. And then even the director, when we started shooting, was like, y'all should know. I mean, the world just shut down.
Yeah.
You were like 10 of the only actors working in the world, and that includes A-listers. So like, and knowing that was mind blowing.
Yeah.
So good shit. Good fucking shit. I am proud of what I've accomplished this year, but it's not enough. I need more. You know what I mean?
I hear you. And I'm sure you're taking steps to make that happen. And I think just doing things is keeping the energy up. Do you know what I'm saying? And trying to book. I mean, I got a call today that I booked a hosting gig for an industrial. So it's a nice little chunk of change for next week, right? So it's a nice little chunk of change. Just as it's the day we're moving. So my girlfriend is none too happy that I will not be there to supervise the move, because I'm going to be shooting a commercial for
next week.
Yeah, next week. We're moving next week. Next Thursday is when I go down to get the keys and do the walkthrough with the owner of the house. And then Friday is when we basically everything's going to get stacked in the center of the room of the living room before I leave on Thursday, so that when the guys show up, they can just stack it all into the truck and come on down to San Diego. So hopefully we're fully booked in.
Where are you going to be all Thursday? I know you're getting the keys.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm coming back up and just sleeping on the ground, or sleeping on the mattress on the ground, I think.
All right. Oh, I'm bringing you a 6-pack we drinking. my whole 30 ends on the 1st, because I would have made it a full 30 days as at the end of next Wednesday. So I would drink some beer. We getting drunk. All right.
Let's figure something out. I'm down with that. But when you were talking about this, the thing that's been amazing though, Winston, is like you've been slowly blowing up in this Schmoedown situation. We got to get into it here and talk about it. Like, this has been incredible to see how you've come along and how you kind of embraced the managership. Because I'm sure it felt like at the beginning, even at the draft, it was like kind of an eyes wide open thing. Like, what? Okay, I got some plans here, but we'll see how this all works out. There's no way you could have predicted what the amazing twists and turns and the surprising performances of the people under your managership, defeating people who've been consistently in the mix for titles. It's been incredible.
I agree and disagree. I agree with you in the sense that nobody knows what the fuck is going to happen in life, right? Let's not pretend. Like, I mean, a little bit. I do. Like, it's funny. People think I'm joking, but I have a lot of deja vu dreams. So I don't see the future where I could predict the future, but I literally will. It could be years ago, and then I'll start living a moment and be like, "Whoa, I've been here before."
Oh, I see.
But it's not enough that I could like call myself a psychic or some crazy shit like that, right? But there's two things that I think fuel me more than anything. It's this like deep belief in myself and my decisions and my actions.
Yeah.
And it's this unyielding desire to shut everybody up that doubted me.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is people were kind of excited, like, oh, when's it going to be manager? That should be fun. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Nobody was checking for me.
No, you were just going to be like a Wildberries type version of manager. Right. Yeah. No,
especially since I was trying to get the Wildberries, and like, nobody took that seriously. Everybody saw my performance on World's Finest And honestly, I did well working with Eric. I know Eric. That's why we balanced well enough that we fill each other's gaps.
Yeah.
Didn't do so hot against you and Dan.
Right. With
that wasn't. I mean, I did get a question that none of you motherfuckers got.
True.
Question, so there's that.
There is that. Hold on to that.
Right. Didn't do great in that. Did great in the Black History Schmoedown, but didn't pull it out. And then the problem was we filmed that and my first InnerGeekdom match the same day. And I was like, I don't have the time or the energy to study for both. Yeah. And if I've been calling Jay out for upwards of half a year about this Black movie trivia Schmoedown, I'm going to have to rest on my laurels for InnerGeekdom and then focus on this. Right. So like people were already counting me out like he was a mediocre player at best. Like whatever. Yeah. I'm not checking for him. Right. So that being said, I think people just missed a couple things. Like one of the things that I looked at in my draft is I looked at people that they already had the goods. Mm-hmm. There was an element missing. Okay. So like, for example, the first thing it was also checking, like, I mean, I know that's the name of the team, but I was checking to see what swag they already had and then how we could play off of it. That to me, I always wanted to be the loudmouth faction that only talk shit but slapped you in the mouth and then you said, and now what? You know what I'm saying? So like that was always gonna be my like thought process. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then look at what ended up happening. Like Paul already came in with that swag. He came in as that essentially light villain. Yeah. You know what I mean? Lon's work as the professor, incredible. Chandru, like you could tell that it was in there, but it hadn't fully come out yet. He really was just like, I'm gonna crunch these answers, I'm gonna crunch this stuff, and he had it. It's just like there were little things that we wanted to like bring out of him. Mm-hmm. I think the one that sticks out for me the most is probably Liz Shannon Miller, and that's in the fact that she is a buzzsaw. But the thing is that I noticed how quiet she was. Yeah. So I was like, all right. Let's see if we can bring that out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we can continue to lift her up as a straight competitor. Yeah. But build her as a Schmoedown player, like to bring this other side. And like to be honest with you, when she in the promo against Chance, when she said bitch and she goes, see, mommy can swear too to Tank Girl. I was like, yo, there it is. She's coming out of her shell, man. So that was my focus. I wanted people like, let's be real. All of the top tier players are pretty much on the same level. I'm being honest. Nobody's studying any harder than anybody else. Yeah. Or anything else like that. I think the big difference ends up being is like a little bit of the luck of the draw, how deep your knowledge goes, and then how bad you want it. Right. It's a combo of all three. No one of them gets you there because you could make the argument Bibbs is the most knowledgeable player in the Schmoedown. You could, but he hasn't always gotten to the promised land. He stood up for 5 fucking hours at the free for all, and Dan Murrell took him out at the end. Yeah, because there was a little bit of luck involved there. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You are one of the most knowledgeable and have the craziest fucking desire that as anybody's ever fucking seen, and multiple times now. This season, it just has not broke your way, which fucking sucks. Yeah, which sucks. Yeah. It sucks. It does. It sucks. Other seasons, I'd have gotten the questions that I knew. And this season, for whatever reason, it's my turn to take the hits. And look, I've been at this for 7 years, so I was due. I was due for a little bit of a slump or a slide. It happens to all players eventually. So, you know, like Dan got TKO'd by Guy and then shortly after by Ethan. So it was like, you know, we all go through those things. Now it's a matter of what am I going to do with this time that I have before we enter into the teams tournament. And then after the teams tournament, what am I doing to kind of, you know, build my knowledge back up as a singles player? We'll see. I won't play till next year. So we'll see. No, I feel you, man. Well, no, the teams tournament. Right. But I won't play singles. I mean, sure. Yes. But then like the last thing, you know, and this has always been my thing. And this is at the end of the day, the two things that made me any sort of a weapon in the Schmoedown. Yeah. At all. Like, because again, I'll openly admit that like what's funny is you need to catch me in the right category. I'm that type of person that, like, you know, a lot of the movies that come up aren't necessarily things that I was paying attention to.
Yeah.
Like, I've only seen probably 3 Scorsese films ever. I know what all of them are, but I've only seen maybe 3 of them.
Yeah.
I could literally talk hours about every film that Eddie Murphy was in, every film that Chris Tucker was in, every film that John Singleton directed, every film that like got all the Ninja Turtle films, most of the Disney movies. Like, there's just certain things that do show up, but they don't always show up in a plethora.
Yeah.
And hell, even the fucking the Match Against Corruption, where we drew Bond off of the wheel.
Yeah.
We had the multiple choice through it because I didn't study it beforehand. But I spent my childhood, the only real super positive thing I can remember from my dad before we ultimately made up when I became an adult was going to see Bond films with him. Or if I went to stay at his house, he'd be like, and this is Octopussy, or this is and From Russia with Love. So like, we piecemealed our way through it, but we got every question. Kalinowski didn't get a chance to steal shit. And that's why it came down to the 5-pointer and Chance pulling it out of his ass that actually broke us. You know what I'm saying? So like, it just depends. Yeah. What I know I'm good at, I've been playing fantasy football for a decade. I've been playing chess since I was like 5. Yeah. I've been playing StarCraft since I was like 8 or 9. I understand tendencies. I understand strategy. I understand strengths and weaknesses, and I understand what my role is. Yeah, yeah. And the one thing that I think people can universally say that I've done with my players, I'm not the same manager for everybody. Right. Everybody gets a different Winston. Ace didn't need me to help him with Star Wars. Ace I drilled him a lot. Me and Chandru drilled the fuck out of him, but he didn't need me to help him remember who Ki-Adi-Mundi was. What he needed was to make sure, since he had all that knowledge, that he stays on track. Yeah. And if you go look at the match against him and Demolanta, I took all of the spotlight off of him because he was in his head, and I made it a joke, and I made him laugh. And the minute he laughed, he was like, oh, yeah, let's go back to having fun. And what happened? Yeah. You know, so that has been my focus this season as a manager. What any good coach would do. Yeah. It's about you, but it's never about you. Right. You know what I mean? You're going to get the blame if you fuck up. Right. But it's never about you. You just need to make it about you enough that they can do what they need to do. Right. Right. Take the focus off of them, and so they can focus on what they need to do, get into the right frame of mind to be able to pull off an incredible run like Ace had, like Liz Shannon Miller so far has had in this tournament, defeating Chance the way she did. I mean, Chance was on a roll. Once again, this member of Corruption was looking like possibly ending the year with 3 belts, and then boom, crash and burn on a 5-pointer. You know, it's just how it goes sometimes in the Schmoedown this year, you know. So I mean, well, and the funny thing is, y'all gotta respect Liz Shannon Miller because she beat Rachel, she beat Chance. Don't forget that before that, she had a TKO with Adam Plavik against what did they call themselves? Because the Experiment was from Corruption. What right. I don't remember what the Wicked. They called themselves the Wicked, which I thought they were going to come out in a Felba and what's in it, the Wicked Witch and shit. I thought that's what they were going to do. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, right. That would have been something. Let's hit some Streamlabs and SuperChats here. Dalton Johnson says, I went to Jesuit and heard you mention private school and knew you were from Dallas. Would love to hear more about your journey from Dallas to LA. Yeah. What can you say about that, man? Like, what put the impetus of Los Angeles in your mind, and what were the moves you had to make that a reality to get here? Yeah. I think despite what my parents were trying to push upon me, I think I knew from a young age that I wanted to act. I was that kid that, like, I was hardcore. When we were playing house, I was playing motherfucking house, bro. Like, I didn't even know what taxes were, but if I was playing, you know, house with the girl that I had a crush on in like 1st grade, I was like, baby, did you see this? We got property taxes on our house in here. Like the little play school play house you have and shit. She's like, what are property taxes? Like, I don't fucking know, but we got to pay them. Like, you know, like, that's just been my shit, you know? And I, you know, I always knew, and my parents just thought it was a hobby that I enjoyed, but like, I actually auditioned for the Barney movie in like 2nd grade. Oh, wow. But I had just gone to, as Dalton had mentioned, St. Mark's, which was an all-boys school. Jesuit was too, but St. Mark's was an all-boys school. And I was trying to not look like the loser kid that came in there. So when I got the audition, I went in and they were like, "Can you sing the Barney I Love You song?" And I was like, "I hate you. You hate me." And they're like, "Well, thank you very much. Have a great day." And so like, I just, I blew that, which sucks. But I kept in theater throughout high school, and I actually in middle school, and I actually I worked for Radio Disney from like 5th grade until I graduated high school. I auditioned for that. It was a nationwide like audition.
Yeah.
And I was doing like voiceover and commercials
Wow.
for them for years.
For Radio Disney.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so like I just always knew. So when I was looking for schools, I wanted to pick schools that had a strong film or theater department. But at the time, because I was so good at math and science, my mom thought I was going to be a doctor.
Right.
And I did start that pre-med stuff. And once I got through OChem, I was like, yeah, even though I did well in it, I was like, yeah, no, thank you, I'm out.
Right.
And I had already been taking theater classes then, but I eventually told her like, hey, this is my major.
Yeah.
She went to a show, and the show we had audience plants. And she thought she was talking to a random stranger. She's like, "Oh my God, my baby said he wants to be a theater major. His life is over. And oh my God, he's gonna struggle." And like she was like, "Well, ma'am, I'm a theater major, and like I'm working to be a producer and all that." She's like, "You mean he doesn't have to?" "Oh, okay. Oh no." Like, so I just always kind of knew, and I went to Occidental College out here. So once we graduated, I just stayed. And even though that was always my aim to do that, I won't lie, I got distracted a lot. You got to figure out Los Angeles as a whole. You have to figure out how to be an adult. I have been battling on again, off again depression since 2012. Wow. My doctor, diagnosed it as situational. So it's not like I just will have a random chemical imbalance. It typically has to do with whatever's going on in my life will potentially put me in that position. Right. But I am prone to it. And so it just took so much to keep my focus. But even if I was only doing a little thing here or there, I was doing something. Yeah. And then there was a point around probably about 2015, 2016, I started working for Nice Peter of Epic Rap Battles of History.
Dude, I love that show.
It's amazing, right? And he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and he taught me so much about the internet space.
Wow.
He taught me so much about how everything moves. And when he first hired me, I was kind of telling him what I wanted to do, and that was also around the time that unfortunately Philando Castillo was murdered.
Oh, right.
And I just was talking to him, and I was like, "Yo, I just feel so helpless. Like it's one after another, because it seemed like every week you were hearing about another Black person getting murdered, from the cops." And I was just like, I just wish there was something I could do, and I don't want to keep seeing us as victims. It's painting this picture to people, and I don't want to do this anymore. And we started to come up with this idea for a show where I would tell news stories, positive news stories about Black people, and that's where PBPN came from. And so he funded it for the first 6 months, and then my dad, who saw such value in the show, got his company to back it for another 6 months, and we went as long as we had money, and then we stopped. And then I brought it back a couple months ago. I had to go on a little bit of a hiatus and stack some stories, just because then I had a whole team. I had a DP and an editor, and people helping me write stories, co-hosts. Right. I'm all alone now, and it just quickly got overwhelming because I've been negotiating with SCN and Skybound for months. Yeah. And still doing SCN live, and still having to manage and all, becoming a dog dad. Like, it was so much that I was like, I got to slow this down, because I can't clip at the rate of one a week. If I have to produce all of it in a fucking week, I can't. Not alone. I genuinely can't.
Oh, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Trust me.
So all that being said, that was the long and the short of it, is that I was already here for school. I stayed. And the one thing, a friend of mine who was very successful in this business and has kind of gotten out of it now because he's really focused on his family. Yeah. He just told me, he's like, at the end of the day, man, you're not that much talented than everybody else, and you're not that much worse than anybody else. There's gonna be some people that are way better than you. There's gonna be some people that are way worse than you. And you can always get better or get worse depending on how that goes. But the main thing that this comes down to is it's a war of attrition. Do you really want it? Can you stick it out until that moment that someone acknowledges your worth and you get there? Yeah. And it took time, but I'm starting to see that happen. You know what I mean? I'm starting to see that acknowledgement.
Yeah. That's why I gave you that intro, man. I sense it happening as well. I can sense it. Like there's a bubbling energy. I've been in this business long enough, both as an actor and then as a pundit, obviously, and on camera host. Like you see it when it's starting to happen for somebody. And you got to give them love when it's happening because you hope it's that thing that pushes forward, especially now. I mean, Wes, I don't know how you feel about this, but like it feels like those of us of color who are performers and actors, we've been banging our heads against a wall and our fists to be heard. And it feels like overnight, because of the George Floyd killing, all of a sudden studios, award shows, production companies, commercial companies, brands all of a sudden are like, find me people of color, find me diversity. It's okay now, as if it wasn't okay before, which of course smacks a little bit of inauthenticity, but whatever, at least we get through the door and get to be seen on things and see ourselves out and see people we know out and about doing their things on TV shows, on film, at award shows, what have you. It's great to see.
No, I agree with you. And the funny thing is I would even say at this point, this is the time.
Yeah.
Make it happen. If you can't make it happen as a person, like we're not at the promised land yet.
No.
Talk about that thirst of we have to solve this right now. If you can't make something pop off right now, it may not be the right move. You know what I'm saying? It may be time to look elsewhere. And I it sounds weird to put that pressure on any of us, and even myself, which is why having some of this validation of booking this stuff is important. Yeah. But like the truth is, we have had to work twice as hard to get half as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, because, like you said, the flavor of the month is, Black Panther killed, son. Like, fuck, like, like, oh shit, Wonder Woman killed, son. Like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, there has never been more desire to get something outside of like the straight white male protagonist. You've been waiting as an other. Now is your time. So I hope you've been polishing your craft. I hope you've been building a name for yourself. I hope you've been ready, because now is that time.
Yeah. That's why I grabbed my hosting agents at the time that I did, because I just have a feeling like, got to get in that room, just got to get in that room. And if it helps you even just a little bit extra, be a person of color or minority or diversity, whatever they want to say, diversity hire, that's okay with me, whatever gets me through the door, because I know I got the talent once I get in the damn door. So before, they wouldn't even open the door for us.
Well, and that's the thing. I think people like to assume that whenever you hear anything about affirmative action or the idea of diversity or whatever, that we're trying to just get a leg up. It's not that at all. It's that people haven't seen Black men or Latino men as like legitimate like love interest leads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the you have exceptions. You have like Denzel.
Yeah, right.
But like only now are you starting to see that like Donald Glover and Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya and like all the like, and then Oscar Isaac and you know what I'm saying? And like you're only now, exactly. You're only now seeing that. Yeah. And it was one of those things where they felt like they had to like, well, I guess we'll give it a shot and we'll see. Yeah. And thank God that it worked out well, because now they're like, fuck, maybe we can make something out of this.
I remember 5 years ago when an interracial couple on a commercial was like controversial, man. Oh, whoa, Tide is doing that, or they've got a gay couple, and you're like, whoa.
You remember the Cheerios commercial?
Yes, the Cheerios commercial.
Bro, black dad, mixed little girl, white mama, came in, daddy, brought him some Cheerios because he was worried about his heart and shit. And people are like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? Yeah. It's a family. What's your problem?
Yeah, don't promote this. This isn't so much. What? Why not? Why shouldn't we promote this? But yeah, it's the madness of it all. It's just like gay marriage happened. I feel like it happened overnight. Even though people were pushing hard that boulder up the hill for decades, all of a sudden it was okay to be gay, to have gay marriage. All of a sudden it was okay. The Me Too movement. All of a sudden, guys are like, wait, women are getting abused. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? So it's so mind blowing that it takes whatever it takes. And then poof, all of a sudden the dam opens and people are like, we've been trying to tell you this for such a long time. I'm glad finally you're listening, but why didn't you listen before?
1,000%. And I the other thing about it that's interesting is that and what I need people to remember, and this is actually why, if you remember me on Game Time, I was very anti the NBA bubble and everything else, is because, like anything else, take it from somebody that's been trying to lose my 3rd grade fat since 3rd grade.
Join the crowd, brother. Join the crowd.
Shit. I'm actually, dude, this whole 30 shit is fucking working. If you want to try it, bro, like, gotta give up a lot, but like, I'm fitting the pants I ain't fitting in a couple years, bro. So,
bro,
you let me know. I'll send you my recipe book. But long story short, you don't start a diet that is meant to be a life transition completely, or even like you got to do this for an extended period of time, like 6 months, a year, something like that.
Right.
And after a month and you go, yo, that was successful. I dropped 3 pounds. You don't then go back to your old fucking ways. And that is why I was so scared about sports coming back, because I know how we are as a society. Yeah. It literally took, or at least in America, it took us being so numbed that we wouldn't see shit. They are intentionally doing that to numb us.
Yeah.
When you stripped it all away and you ain't got a job.
Yeah.
It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do but sit at home, because otherwise you're going to catch COVID.
Right.
Like, that's when all of a sudden you saw somebody go, wait a minute, they fucking choked this black dude out for 8 and some change minutes and shit. Oh. Like, what the fuck? You weren't at work. You weren't watching, the NBA playoffs. You were at home. So you saw it. And then the rage came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was my concern.
Yeah.
You got to treat, like, if you really want to get that off, and that's one of the things that I'm realizing, even though my 30 days will be up next week, I've already made the decision that, like, the only thing, like they say you should add stuff back slowly. Yeah. The only thing that I'm immediately adding back is alcohol, which makes me sound like a drunk, but like, I've been fine without it. The only thing that made me sad is when, like, people are having these Zoom functions and everybody's drinking, and I got to be like, well, here's my LaCroix. But I haven't necessarily missed rice and beans and cheese and all that. I thought I would, but I'm okay. Right. So it becomes a permanent change.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to happen with race relations, with Me Too stuff, with LGBTQ. Like, we have to keep the same energy. You can't be excited about it for a month and then be off it.
Right. Right. You can't put the black frame up on your Instagram and then forget about it in a month from now.
And then be completely over it.
Yeah. It's important. All right, let's answer one of these. We got a bunch of Streamlab questions here for you, Winston. Let me ask one of them, and then we'll bring in Sean to talk to people and let them know how they can come in live and ask us questions. But still, keep the Streamlabs coming. The Streamlabs.
People come in for real?
Yeah, for real. Yeah, they'll keep the Outlaw Nation and the lights on here. So please keep the Streamlabs flowing, my friends. This is the show that I depend on to keep everything moving in the Outlaw Nation. So your generosity would be most appreciated on a night like tonight. And also, we've got over 150 y'all watching us live. So please give it a thumbs up, give it a like as well. We want to get as many likes on this. I'm sorry, no, 183 of you watching us live, but we only have 88 likes. So please give us a bunch of likes here and get us over 100, get us to 150 likes as soon as possible. And Alex O'Neill donated. Thank you, Alex. Very kind donation. Good to see you in here, my man. Winston, what are your goals for the Schmoedown next season, given all that you've accomplished this season? And by the way, he's not done this season. And here's a contribution to the beers. All right. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it.
Well, it sounds like they're on you then. If people are paying for the beers, you can Venmo me the beer money. I'll just pick it up.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. But yeah, what are your plans for next season, man? I mean, like, this is all great now, but already we're nearing to the end of the season and people are starting to look at, well, okay, who are you going to pick up? You're only going to keep 3 people. Who are you going to lobby? Those kinds of things. So have you started thinking that already in your head?
I have.
Okay. Do you want to tell them what your plans might be or no? No plans?
Retire. Go out on top, bitch. Like, why would I go win the chip and then sit around and wait for someone to take it from me? Nah, I'm on top, and y'all got to live with that shit. Look at Brett Sheridan. Brett Sheridan is a Schmoedown fucking legend.
Yeah.
Undefeated. One of the only people this season that is undefeated. And what the fuck you gonna say about it? Not a goddamn thing.
That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely fair.
I mean, real talk. It's one of those things that we have made such a close bond in our faction. It does, like, even to the point where I've had a ringer of a day to be with you. Not just the fumigation. I've had other stuff going on that's just been eating away at my mind. And we were supposed to get a training session in either before or after this.
Okay.
And I just hit the crew up and I was like, look, y'all, I am so sorry. I can't today. I am in a bad place and I need to sort some shit out first.
Right.
So maybe later tonight, but I can't right now.
Man.
And they were like, don't even worry about it. We got it. Like, you take care of you. And that's the kind of openness and communication and support that we have with each other. That I know that they can take care. And the amount of people in the faction in that group chat that just stepped up. They were like, cool, got it. One person's talking about, yo, Liz, like, we're trying to what we want to do is we want Paul and Lon getting ready for the team's tournament. To get ready. And then Liz is just on standby until round 2 happens with Lon and what's his name? Collins. So we just keep drilling Liz once a week at minimum. And then we're drilling Lon and Paul, obviously Lon to prep him for Collins, but then just getting final exam ready, right? But they're just like, nah, I got it. Like, one person be like, I'll run it. Another person be like, great, I'll come in and work at what we've been doing is, even though Liz is done on a team basis, people will just step up and like be her partner, and then we'll have a teams match between final exam and Liz and whoever wants to step up. You know what I'm saying? For like, we just do all sorts of the fact that at the end of the day, maybe I set something up, but they just do it. Like, they just handle it because, and especially today, even though it'd be on me to like run shit, the minute I said I'm not okay, they said, we got it. You take care of you. We got it.
Yeah. That's a good team.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard because I can't imagine being without any of them. But I think, like life, certain things are, like my mom loves to say, certain things are there for a reason, or there for a season for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I already know there's no way that the rest of these factions are going to allow me to keep my same fucking unit completely. We have seen everybody grow to such a level. People are looking to see what 3 I take so they can poach the rest.
Yeah.
They're already waiting for that.
True.
Let alone if something ends up happening, I end up talking to somebody and then I end up pulling somebody and signing them. And then I've left another gap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so hard because we do have that great chemistry right now. And that's why we're pushing to prove that we have that sauce. Yeah.
It's so hard.
Because you never know. You could be the number Bro. Yeah. Look at the Warriors. Dynasty. Best team in basketball. Worst team in basketball. Like, it could, in 1 year, shit could all change, man. So
we were riding high at the top of the year, and now we're like, they're depending on us to get some points here. We'll see. I mean, Riley beat Perry, so we got some points there, and we'll see how far he goes. So we're trying to accrue points ourselves to get back in the mix for that number one spot. You never know.
Can I be real with you? I know that you worry about it because you keep, like, you've been on a little bit of a losing streak, but everybody respects the fuck out of you, and they pretty much unequivocally put you on Rushmore, so you're safe.
Well, I don't know.
I know.
You're never as good as you're only as good as your last win to a lot of fans, or last loss. So,
True. Which is why this talk about Shannon being the manager of the year, but I don't knock what she's done. She deserves credit for what she's done. But how fast did they forget about who the fuck I was just because there happened to be a string of corruption matches in a row? You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're one question away too. One question away from beating.
Literally, all it was corruption. Just happened. Like, they had to play one match to get to a title match, right? Just set up from last year. Yep. So they play one match to go to a title match. People forget about that. They get this title match that's already been set up from like February or whatever.
Yeah.
And I won't knock that shit either, because the same thing is true about Chandru and how that played out with IG. True. But just in the order of operations of how it happens,
Yeah.
Corruption just happens to play y'all most recently. They happen to pull it out, and all of a sudden, she the goddamn queen. She the greatest manager we've ever seen in our life. Who fucked that motherfucker? Who's the that? Well, Bobby Gucci got some shit to answer for.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
But you know what I'm saying? Like just writing everybody the fuck off like a motherfucker because it's just recency bias is real.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let me bring in Sean. He's got to go here. He's my producer of the show. Let me bring him in. He's going to talk about how people can come in live to ask questions of us. The $10 and above patrons on the Outlaw Nation, they always get first dibs to come in first to ask questions of any of the guests I have every Tuesday here on the show. You can join the Patreon right above my head there, patreon.com/John Rocha. $10 and above gets first dibs to ask their questions live. Sean, let's bring you in. What's going on, my man? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How you guys doing tonight?
Good,
brother. Good to see you.
Good to be seen. So pretty much what John said. So the link to get in live tonight is already in the Discord. So all the $10 and above patrons, like John said, already have access to the link. So they're probably in backstage right now. At the top of the hour, myself will put the link in the chat. So anybody else who likes to come in live can do so. Once you click the link, it will bring you to StreamYards, and then it will ask you to verify your microphone and camera. So please make sure that you're preferably wearing headphones, and so we don't hear an echo because that could be a little distorting. And then you'll be put in backstage, so John will be able to see you, and then he can bring you in live at any time. So please be ready. Have your one question ready, so John can get through as many people as possible, and then we can keep the show moving.
Don't pull a Barito. Don't come in with 5 questions.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So since I didn't know Winston had Caribbean descent, so it's same as I do. What is your favorite Caribbean dish?
Oh, dude, that's easy. Beef patties. Come on now. Don't get me wrong. I love me some oxtail. I love me all fly plantains, all that shit. Beef patties. Let's go. It's not even a fucking. You want to know what's hard to give up? When you want a motherfucking beef patty.
You're not wrong about that.
Beef patty, I think if I'm right, is a pastry that contains various fillings and spices baked inside a flaky shell, often tinted with an egg yolk mixture or turmeric. Is this correct?
That is correct.
I don't know.
He Googled it with the quickness.
Bro, now I need to have hands up in every fucking digital Schmoedown match ever. That was the fastest Google I have ever seen.
I know. I was like, Rocha knows about beef patties like that. I didn't know that, but he Googled it with quickness. Beef patties are good, but I would tell you, mine is roti and fish cake. I'm saying this, but I'm not saying this just because. So my grandmother, who recently just passed away in July, she made the best roti and fish cake I've ever had. And I've been to the Caribbean. Being born and raised in Brooklyn, you've eaten a lot of fish cake and roti. She made the best. So it was just a matter of just I can eat that all day, every day. And that's one thing I'm gonna miss about it, is that I won't be able to have that.
Dude, there's nothing that beats anything like that. I mean, I didn't really have a relationship with my grandmother on my dad's side, just because my dad is actually one of 16, I believe. And so I just didn't go. I wasn't taken up to her a lot in New York. So I probably met her a handful, 3 or 4 times. But her fucking, God damn it, I don't even know what they're called, but you know how they make like those little pies, and some of them have beef and some of them have fucking like the sweet like apricot or whatever the fuck ass little pastries. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm on the right. I'm hearing you. Keep going.
Yeah,
I have to think about it. But like, for example, I remember getting them like going to random like Caribbean, Jamaican, Guyanese, whatever restaurants.
Yeah.
But nothing beats your grandmama's shit, bro. Like, because not only has she taken the time to perfect it, the love, people don't understand, love changes everything, including fucking food. So
absolutely.
I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't find out how she, like, what made hers different, so that that's part of the memory I have of her. Like, will always be that. So I just wanted to share that. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
You make me want to have a beef patty now, Vincent. Damn it! We can't get
Have
out
one
in LA.
bro. Have one
No,
for me,
John,
please.
don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that.
Get a beef patty. No, it's not good.
No, yeah, take me out. Take me out after that. Take me out after that. Take me out.
No, Rocha, take it down. Take it down. You know what, Rocha? Your Scottish is so close. I can't even fucking do Scottish.
Yeah, my Scottish is on point. You can't fuck with that, mate. No, that's my Cockney. Oh,
You don't know whatever that was good, but don't do that. Whatever Caribbean accent that was, don't do that.
Yeah, I was watching Idris Elba videos today, and I was like, "Bruv, what's up, bruv? What's up, fam? Fam, bruv, fam." All right, thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you. Enjoy Cinema Bias. I love the ladies over there. All right, with Sean Barrett, so my producer here on the show. We get a couple of Streamlabs more, and then we'll get some people coming in live here. Winston, Ben _Rayner said, "Hi, Rocha and Winston. I think you're a fan of Arrowverse, Winston. Supergirl announced next season to be the final season. I had a thought, what if they used Crises as a series finale for the entire Arrowverse and started over? I think if they planned it out, it could have been cool. What do you think?"
I would think that the thought may have crossed their mind,
right?
But the shows haven't hit their peak quite yet. They had just introduced Batwoman,
yes,
even though that didn't do all that well. Though I'm very excited about season 2. I used to host for Full Screen, and Javicia Leslie, who's playing the new Batwoman, was one of my co-hosts.
Wow,
I'm so proud of her, man.
Shout out to her.
But I just think that they were in such a rush to counter Endgame, which had just dropped earlier that year, that it wasn't necessarily in the cards. You weren't trying to blow up your shows that quick, because you got to think about contracts. You got to think about scheduling. If you take out all those shows, that's what Arrow, which is going out, but Arrow, Legends, Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, and Black Lightning. That's 6 shows. You're telling me the CW is going to make up ground with 6 fucking shows in a season? That's not. If a network does that, and it happens rarely, they are like, we failed. Yeah. We have to do a full revamp. And the CW was not in that position, nor were they ready to do something like that.
Agreed. Berlanti, no way he's like dropping 6 shows. Berlanti needs that cash.
Berlanti cashing them checks. He's canceled my shows, kiss my ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. The only reason Arrow ended supposedly is because Steven was just ready.
Yeah.
He was just ready to be done.
Of course. 8 seasons, you're good. Like if you've invested correctly, you never need to do anything else after that. 8 seasons eating a show, you're good.
If you invested correctly, you don't ever need to do anything again. Real talk. Like, because the I'm sure you know the SAG scale minimum for a series regular on network TV is $20K an episode.
Yeah, $20K.
And CW shows are 22 episode shows. Yeah. Very rarely do they do the 13 half a season shit. So like, you might evolve into it, but you always start off with the 22. So like, my math is just sucking ass right now, but
400,000 at least. Plus merchandise.
So 22 episodes, but $20K an episode. That's 440.
Yeah,
that's before taxes and paying people out. But you're still probably sitting on $300. Like, again, you could, if I'm assuming you're living at a base means then, and you jump from like maybe 70 to 80K to 330.
Yeah.
If you're still living the 70 to 80K life, you really could be kind of set if you make smart investments.
Yep.
You get 2 seasons and you're typically getting some sort of minor raise in season 2. You good. Yep. So 8 seasons, you really good. Like,
plus merchandising, and then once it crosses whatever it is, you start to see the reruns. You're making money. You're making good money. Mm-hmm. D-Train donated. He said, "What's up, Rocha? Would you ever consider doing a show talking about COVID and breaking down which states or countries have their cases rising or dropping? It can't be weekly, and it would be knowledgeable to know the status of each state and country." It's a good idea. To be honest with you, I've been kicking around the idea of doing the Outlaw Nation show 3 nights a week and turning it into my version of the Joe Rogan show, where I would just sit in and talk about stuff and bring guests on when they can come on and talk about stuff, talk about different interests, talk about movies, TV shows, sports, politics, what have you. It's a wide open show. So I've been considering that 3 nights a week as kind of, just an impetus to kind of figure out if I can do a show like that. SEN had offered me a show like that. In the end, we couldn't come to the right terms that I felt were good for me financially. So I thought, well, maybe it could be something to explore, a show later at night because I've always felt that I've gotten better responses from people later at night, as they're waking up across the world, and then also the domestic people who are going to bed or staying up late or whatever. So that could be part of the show for sure, because I think we all need to be informed about what's happening with this disease. And it's certainly something that's frustrating for me to see so many people being pig-headed about wearing masks and about, being safe around other people and making a big deal out of it. I was at Trader Joe's today shopping with my girlfriend before we came onto the show. 3 or 4 old people, just like the mask hanging around their lips. I'm like, it's such a temptation to go up there and go, what the fuck are you fucking doing? Put the fucking thing over your face. But of course, I can't do that because I'll get into an argument, and my girlfriend hates that shit in public. But it's frustrating to see it happening. That's for sure.
It drives me crazy because, like, I know that, like, empathy is both a mix of what you're born with and what you're taught.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the idea that, let's say it drives you crazy. You're not out in the world 24/7. You're going to the grocery store. You're maybe going to a restaurant. Yeah. You're walking your dog. You're going for a run. Like, you know what I'm saying? They've already said that the mask does help you personally, but the main thing it does is it prevents you, if you have it, from spreading it.
And you don't know you have it.
So don't even know if you have it.
Right.
Why, at the very least, that is the minimum thing you have to do. Why can't people just do that? That drives me insane. Yeah. And it's probably just because of, like, the empathy that, like, I pride myself on. I try and understand other people. I don't get the idea that you can't make a little self-sacrifice for everybody else. And it's not even a big one. No one's saying I need you to donate $100,000 to fucking COVID solving problems. If you go outside, wear a mask. If you're outside and wearing a mask, keep 6 feet from people. Stay home. If you want to see people, keep it real small about the number. Like, keep it to your family. Keep it to your best friend. Keep it to your lover. Don't go and see all your coworkers. Don't go and see the random acquaintances at the bar you normally kick it at. Go buy a handle and drink with your buddies in your backyard and just keep a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not that big of a deal. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, one last one, then we'll jump into but thank you for that suggestion, D-Train. I'm certainly thinking about it. So, look, there may be announcements coming in October. Now, once we move and we're hanging out in San Diego, bro, I think I'm going to be a lot more relaxed to do the things that I really want to do with this channel. And I'll have the time and feel the kind of creativity impulse to do these kinds of things with the space we're going to have. And so I hope that leads to more content like this that satisfies people who have been part of this, the Outlaw Nation, and attracts new people to be part of it as well. Gregory Jensen said, I love seeing you two together on all your streams. This has been one crazy year, but it's great to hear both of you dealt with the adversity as best you could. Winston for Manager of the Year. Also, Swag's music is curse lit. I don't know what that means. Is that a new one?
Is what lit? Curse lit?
Curse lit is what he said. CURSLIT.
I'm a visual person. Just type it in the private chat so I can see what you're saying, and then maybe I'll.
It's us. All right, hold on. Let me see. Where's the private chat here? Okay, curse lit. I'm gonna type it in. I don't know if it's a mistype, but that's what he said. Curse lit.
I've never heard of curse lit before. That's new to me.
That's new to me, pal. But thank you so much, Gregory. Appreciate the love, and I'm sure Winston appreciates you shouting out Swag and him for Manager of the Year for sure. Jim Sandelin said, what do you think about Michael Jordan becoming a NASCAR owner with Bubba Wallace being his driver? I'm excited about this, expanding the diversity in NASCAR. Started my day with Outlaw Nation, now ending with it. Respect. Great day. Hashtag Baba Booey. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you having us on both ends of your day. Yeah. What do you think about that, Winston? I mean, Michael Jordan. What do you say? Owning a NASCAR team with Bubba Wallace.
I love it. I love it, man. I think it's one of those things that, Black people, and rightfully so, were very hard on Michael when he was out here being like, they even brought it up in The Last Dance, Republicans buy shoes too. Because the reason, if you want to know why Black people get so heavy-handed on Black people that do not protect their own, it's because no matter what happens, excuse my language, I don't know how you feel about that one, but you're still a nigga. No matter where you go, no matter how much money you get, no matter how many accolades, you need proof of that. I can point to a good friend of my mom's who's a federal judge who got pulled out of his car at gunpoint. He's a federal judge and like a professor at UCLA, I think. Pulled out of his car at gunpoint because they thought he stole his own car. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you could be someone who's a saint like Philando Castillo, who's out here, feeding kids. Like he works in the cafeteria, but he also set up his own fund while he was alive to feed children that couldn't afford school lunches. And he has a legal firearm and tells them, I have a legal firearm and my paperwork and blah, 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 and gets gunned down.
Yeah.
You could be as rich and powerful as fucking Oprah. The only reason Oprah may not directly have to deal with it at this point, because Oprah is Oprah. So she got bodyguards that don't let nobody treat her like that. But like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And so when Michael says shit like that, when Tiger Woods, dips into that back in the day, shit like that, it can get a little difficult.
Yeah.
But he's since come around. He's since learned the error of his ways. He's since put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
And that alone, like I believe in a redemption story.
Yeah.
And I think that is what he's done. And so like for him to then double down on not only the money he's donated for police reform and whatnot, but then to see what Bubba went through and be like, fuck it, let's get in it.
Yeah. Let's
Brilliant.
get it. I mean, he's not a great team owner if you look at the record of the team he's owned in the NBA, but stepping into this is a strong, powerful move by him. And I agree with you. Let's get in it. Let's see what kind of diversity we can make happen. And I'm sure it shakes the walls of NASCAR to have someone like Michael Jordan involved in it. And we'll see how the fans react to it as well. It's very, very interesting. Like you were saying earlier, Kanye, one of my favorite lines from Kanye West, and all falls down. He says, even if you in a Benz, you're still an N-word in a coupe to a lot of people. No matter how you're hanging, they still judge you from that. And that's the unfortunate truth of it.
I agree with that. I think my favorite Kanye line is from the Dilated People song, This Way. It's like, I don't know what's better, getting laid or getting paid. I just know when I'm getting one, the other's getting away.
I like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have over 250 y'all watching us live. Thank you so much for joining me and Winston here in this conversation. We got about another hour left in us. Going to bring some people in live to ask questions as well. But keep those Streamlabs and Super Chats coming. We're talking about money. Money makes the world go around. Money makes the Outlaw Nation go around for sure. So please send in your Streamlabs, send in your Super Chats to donate a little bit here. But also hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. If you can't donate, I totally understand. But please hit that like button. Get us up to 150 likes. We're only at 111 right now. So get us to 150. Get us to 200 before we end this show in an hour. It takes you 2 seconds to put that mouse over there, that cursor over there, hit that thumbs up. So give it some love. And for those of you who are watching it later, and a lot of you do, over half of our audience watches these shows later. Half of the views, rather, are people who watch the show later. Leave a comment down below as well as hitting the like button. All the comments and the likes elevate the visibility of the show and this channel and put it on the side for people to possibly take a chance on and enjoy. All right, let's bring in our first guest live here. He's my man who runs the Outlaw Nation Facebook page, and that is Mike Shea. How are you, Mike Shea? What's going on, dude?
Hey, guys. Hey, Winston, good to see you, man.
Good to see you play, but damn, you got that radio voice, bro. Like, you got a TV face, but the radio voice. You said, "Hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm Michael Shea. Hello."
Been told since I was 17, I got a face for radio.
You got a voice for radio.
I appreciate that,
you got a face for at least a reoccurring guest star on multiple shows.
Yeah, I can do a Mike and Molly spinoff. I love that show. I got the box set sitting over there. Winston, you were talking earlier. One of the things you were talking about kind of played in what I was going to ask you about anyway, when you were talking about having the rough day and calling the guys and saying, like, you need that break. I mean, I think we've all had to let call in sick from work and take a mental health day sometime. You guys in Swag have such just a real tight camaraderie and the way that you guys play together and the way you feed off each other. When you first put the group together, you hear sometimes in movies and TV shows, like, they get the cast together and they send them all to, like, go have a date at, like, Dave and Buster's or something and just hang out as buddies. Was there anything like that for you guys going into the Schmoedown for this season, where it was like, let's all just obviously COVID being what it is, but, like, let's all just get together and form that brotherhood? I
mean, I'll be honest, like, I wanted to, and I didn't do a very good job up front. Like, I'll admit that my first starting point as a manager for them was not very good. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that, like, at the time, so last November, my lease ended, and I made the decision that I needed to live alone for the first time. And so, but I wasn't ready. I didn't have the money ready. Like my credit wasn't that great. So like I needed some time. So my sister was like, yo, if you want to come and stay in my extra room for a couple months, let's do that. Well, that was its own thing that was causing a little drama here and there. Like I'm big into dodgeball. I had stepped my game up to another level. So I was going to a lot of tournaments. I was trying to find the funds to put together new headshots because I knew pilot season was around the corner. There were so many things happening that I wanted to. I was like, hey, y'all, we should go to Dave & Buster's and meet and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't get to. The one thing that I did get to do that I do appreciate is I did get a chance to kind of sit down with not everybody, but a good number of the players individually, like me and them. Mm-hmm. And then over time, I eventually was like, all right, look, here's the deal. This is us. No pun intended. Like, so we got to come together. And if we only get to do this digitally, and this is even before COVID hit, that's fine. If it's only through text message, that's fine. But I want y'all to have a camaraderie that you can lean on each other and you can help train each other because that's what it's going to take. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be your best ally for studying because a lot of you have better study tactics than I do, maybe in life, maybe just in the Schmoedown. But I want you to connect and start to be a family. So anytime a match happens, our chat is blowing the fuck up from people. Like we already a lot of people in the Schmoedown talk, so you know how matches are going to play out one way or the other. But the live pay-per-views or even rewatching matches that we know the outcome, people are like, what the fuck? Can you believe this? Can you believe that? Oh shit, you could have got that so-and-so. You busted that shit up in practice. Yeah, you can do that. Like, so we have not just, hey, let's schedule this, whatever. Right. It is hey, I just want to tell you, you're so dope. And like, wow, did you see this? Do you think we should? And even when matches come up, I have an idea of maybe strategy-wise, what wheel slices do we want to put on for the opponent we're going up against, etc. But the whole team comes together and goes, nah, I watched this and this. What about that? Oh, well, I saw this. What about that? Okay, that's not a bad plan. What if you two do this and you two focus on that and we'll come back to the drawing board and figure out what we're going to do? Right. It became that. And that's always what I wanted. I wanted this to be a family, and that is essentially what we've become, which is why it's going to be hard. I got to essentially give away some of my children. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Good to see you, brother.
Drip, drip.
Is that a Shure? Is your mic a Shure mic? Is that
SM7B?
Bro, I'm gonna buy that.
That shit
it's an expensive mic, but it's
expensive.
Yeah. I saw how much it is on Amazon. So keep sending in your Streamlabs, people. I need a new mic.
I had a microphone.
It's good to see you, brother. Peace. Congratulations on the new home too, man. A shout out to him. He just bought a home. I think he was coming in from that.
Oh, nice.
So big ups to Mike there in Dayton, Ohio. All right, let's bring on Jay Scotty for real. Jay from the attic. What's going on, dude? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about you guys? Good to see you.
Good, man. Good. It's finally good to put a face to him. I mean, I've seen obviously your photo on the little icons, but like,
for sure.
Able to, like, see you for real, dude. It's so great to meet you.
Right on. Yeah, good to see you too, man. I'm a big fan of yours. So
thank you.
Yeah. So that being said, I know you're a pretty versatile guy, you know, in terms of acting, your interest in anime, comics. By the way, I'm really excited for your InnerGeekdom show as well. So
thank you.
Just a second. Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I struggled to come up with a question that kind of hit everything, but I think I came up with something good here. Hopefully you like it. But if you could be the quote unquote Kevin Feige for any property or franchise where you're in charge of like the movies, the video games, and anime if you want, and the comics, what would you choose? I have a choice for you that may be unconventional, but I'd like to hear what you would go with.
Fuck, that's a great question. I think the answer would be either Dragon Ball, like that whole universe, or honestly, I don't even need all of Marvel, just the X-Men.
Okay.
Wow.
They are probably the first. Batman's up there, but if I had to guess, I would say that Batman and X-Men, it kind of happened at the same time, and I fell a little bit more in love with the X-Men. I used to pretend that I was Wolverine. I'd walk around like fake with my claws up and like I could smell them, like just because of the stupid shit you would see on the X-Men animated series. And I don't know if it's true or it's just because I have a big ass nose and it was going to happen anyway. I feel like my sense of smell overdeveloped because of that. People think that I have a pregnant woman's sense of smell. But like, I love the X-Men so much, and each of the characters is so unique and interesting. And the fact that a lot of it is really modeled after the civil rights movement and the shit that Black people have been having to deal with nonstop. It just rang a particular bell, and it didn't necessarily click to me as a child why it rang a bell, but there were certain things that I kind of understood. It was way once I got older, but I just think like they've just become such a love for me in that regard I think that would be my answer.
Wow. Great question. Thank you.
What did you have in mind?
It may not be something you're particularly passionate about, but I think you could bring an interesting perspective, especially given some of the recent reception to some of the recent films, as well as the creators' not so savory takes on things. But Harry Potter, the Wizarding World.
Yeah, I honestly I loved the books as a kid. I've probably read. I'm not one of the Potterheads, I think is what they call them.
Me neither.
Yeah, right. Where they read one of the books every day. So 7 days a week you're reading a Harry Potter book. You just keep cycling through them. I don't do that. I probably read each book twice.
Okay. That's more than me.
Right. So there's that. But I really did enjoy it when I read it. It was one of the few things that kept me attached to reading. Because around that age, I was starting to get to the point where I was more about video games and movies and TV. But that was one of the things that kept me jacked into reading. Right. That and Animorphs, which was
that's a good pull too. I like Animorphs quite a bit. That would be interesting to see that one given a reboot of some kind.
Yeah, but I would love a Harry Potter would be fun. That would be for sure.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones like I think it kind of naturally lends itself to like the anime. That's why I kind of attached you to that, you know.
Yeah.
With the different houses and everything like that, it'd be pretty cool to see brought to life that way.
Well, I thank you for believing in me. Like so.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Jay Scotty. It's always good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys. Take care.
Have a good one, brother.
Hey, brother. All right, let's bring on Brennan, and then we'll jump into some Streamlabs super chats here. It's 8:15 already, man. The time is flying by. What's up, Brennan?
Hey, Winston.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
So my question is, there's been a lot of discussion lately about movies like Green Book and Driving Miss Daisy, which are kind of oversimplified, over sanitized. They may have good intentions, but they come off as a bit naive, or massively naive is the case. Maybe, do you think there's still room to make movies where a black character and a white character learn to respect each other, but in a way that's more appropriate to what's really going on in the world?
That's a great question, and the answer is definitely yes. Let me think of like a good example of that. I would, like honestly, there's obviously a baby bit of ignorance in it, and because like there's some stereotyping, and it's Black and Asian, but people know how much I love Rush Hour. There is something to be said about how you literally put people from two completely different cultures. No one was better than the other, and both of their skills were equally as important, and it really became a true partnership.
Interesting.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a comedy, but you need to come at it with the idea that both are equal and nobody is the savior. I think where Hidden Figures into a small trap, where Green Book falls into a small trap, that like you will not talk to my Black associate as such. That is so disrespectful, and we don't do that here. And the idea that they were already perfect, they just needed a little bit of tweaking, and now all of a sudden here we are. I think that's part of the problem, is that Green Book was, I protected you from all them Klansmen in the South. You taught, and I also taught you how to eat chicken, black man. I mean, Black people were more than just Black people. Like that's not an even balance of things, and that's not how that works.
Interesting. So more of a balanced approach. Okay.
I think there's two examples of it. if you go back in time, right when the heat of the civil rights movement was happening here in this country, we had these two interesting films, one in black and white, one in color. The Defiant Ones with Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis, where they are handcuffed to each other.
Yes.
So they have to figure out how to work together when they've broken out of a chain gang or prison or something to stay alive. So black and white having to figure it out and work together with the stereotypes on both sides, which I thought was really cool. And then, of course, in the heat of the night, you have the pretty racist or set in his ways Rod Steiger, and having him come around, seeing this proud black defiant man in Sidney Poitier who stands his ground and will not be bullied or treated.
That one white guy.
Slaps the guy in his greenhouse, right? It says it powerfully. So. There have been movies that have done that. It's just that Lifetime approach to racism helps no one. No one. It frustrates us overall, because the real, actual stories are there to be told if you're willing to do them with a deft touch. And maybe some of these filmmakers can't do that, So I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing too is they always say you need to write what you know, and I don't disagree with that, but I think you got to look to reach outside of what you know and then apply what you know, if that makes sense. So, like, don't be afraid to go tell a story like Green Book, but tell the real story. Yeah. Like his family, the family. God, John, you can help me out here.
Yeah.
The name. Thank you. Exactly.
I beat you to it, Rocha.
Yeah, right. Take his belt. Let's go. The family said,
yeah. We're gonna play each other in the Patreon. Don't he knows.
Okay. All right.
He knows. But breathing apparatus. He doesn't get an extra few seconds either. We play 15 or nothing. All right, go ahead.
Handicapped.
He got it. He's got it ready clearly.
I think he does. Yeah.
But you notice the family was like, this is not how this played out. So actually sit down and figure that out, and then put the most realistic representation, because who doesn't want to see a black and a white man genuinely come together and be friends?
Yeah.
And like I think about a White Man Can't Jump. Shit. That's one of my favorite movies about black white people coming together. So like,
can't hear Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brendan. Appreciate the question, brother.
Thank you so much, guys.
Good to see you, man. Brendan, I was just a guest on his podcast, his Star Wars podcast. We had a really great time talking about the most spiritual installment in the Star Wars movies. So we were, just because he's a believer in God, as am I. So we had a really great conversation about that. So when he drops that, I will definitely be retweeting it at some point. All right, Brian, let's see. We're running through here. Let's run through a few of these before we jump into some more live people here. Brian Brawler says, Rocha, you're not going to sit there and bully me into giving ungodly amounts of money. I am poor. Just kidding. What do you appreciate the most about Winston? Here's what I appreciate the most about from the first time we met. Winston was one of these guys that was just very cool and relaxed and fun and playful and respectful person to person. There wasn't any dick swinging, any kind of trying to be alpha over on top of you. He was totally cool. And, it was so great to see his personality be a part of the Schmoedown, because, you never know how it's going to go when you meet new people in this game. And it's just that's one of the things that I enjoy about him, man. He's very real. And what you see is what you get with Winston. Not a lot of people in LA are like that. So when you find people like that, you really kind of gravitate to those people and have a good time with them. Plus, he has a unique perspective on the world. And every time we do the sports show or do any show, I'm always oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. So those are those things that really kind of I love about Winston. So
thanks, man. I was about to cut you off and be like, the fuck you talking about? I'm always dick swinging. Like, you're always just like, the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
No, but
go ahead. Yeah,
man, that's very sweet of you, and I've tried to say that as clearly as I can. I know Jay talks about it all the time, how he will lose followers because all of a sudden he's unapologetically black. I'm a little grateful that I've decided to hit my stride now, and that I remain that constantly, so people don't get it twisted. I am fun loving, and I am passionate about the Schmoedown and a lot of things in life, but I will never censor my blackness for not a goddamn thing, because the world doesn't do that for me,
right?
And so that to me, I literally my teacher has been the world, and so that's what it is. I will always speak up about black people being treated fairly, because the world continues to treat us unfairly, and I have I've literally dealt with it straight up, not just microaggressions. I've told this story multiple times. I was at a dodgeball tournament and 6 cops came, weapons drawn on me because some report of a black dude causing trouble, but I hadn't left that gym in 6 hours.
Yeah.
And the dude, when they eventually found him, darker than me by like 4 shades, like Wesley Snipes dark, balder than fucking Dave Chappelle, and older by a decade. I still had my dreads at the time. Like that, they're not even remotely fucking close. So yeah, I'm gonna speak the fuck up about that and be unapologetically black because y'all are gonna remind me I'm black 24 motherfucking 7. You think black people don't want to get to a point where that's not a fucking thing? We would love that. We would fucking love that shit. We could just have our culture and everybody could just be everybody. But until we get to that point, I'm not gonna censor myself. So I love for everybody to follow me if they can and then they want to, but don't be surprised if I speak my fucking mind.
I made a deal with myself on that a long time ago that I may not have 50,000 followers on Twitter or on Instagram, but I'm going to tell my truth. I'm going to speak my truth. Let other people not speak their truth because they're afraid to lose followers or whatever, and then become, and then when it's okay that everyone else is doing it, all of a sudden they care about social justice for like a day. Fuck that, man. You got to be in this war forever. That's the game always, at least the way I look at it. So, so there we go. Drunk 3PO says, Winston, what do you like and appreciate the most about John? You do not have to answer this, by the way.
No, I will. It's totally fine. Okay. I think the first thing that drops out, like pops into my mind, is you are probably like top 5 most hardworking people I know in this industry. I joke all the time. I'm like, Rocha ain't got time to be on your show. Rocha got 20,000 shows he got to cover before the end of the day. Like he ain't got time for that. But I give you so much credit for that. I give you so much credit that despite people coming at you one way or the other, that you also will always speak your mind. You are so passionate in whatever you do, whether that be the Schmoedown, the love of Mrs. Outlaw, the development of your channel, whatever it may be, you give it 1,000%. And the fact that deep down you are just a good and kind soul. That is something that you have worked to craft and to nurture and to be, is a good and kind soul. And there's not enough of that anymore. Whether people have it and they don't show it or they don't nurture it, it is not our native MO right now. Yeah. And to see you continuously do that is an inspiration, because the days that I get tired and I'm thinking it's time for me to cuss out a Karen, I do, like, I know there are times where you'll cuss out a Karen too, but I see people like you. The other one that jumps out to my mind that has that kind of nature is Roxy. I had a really long conversation with her the other day just about how she handles certain stuff. I know that there was a situation with the one dude was going for Sabrina, and like the whole community, which I appreciate, was like, nah, we ain't gonna tolerate that shit.
Cool. Yeah.
But it kept building, right? Yeah. And Roxy was like, I agree, he needs to go. Let him be gone. We have said our piece. Maybe we stop piling on to him because he's already admitted he has his own emotional and mental health issues he's dealing with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And she even said on top of that, he's admitted that he's a black man that's dealing with all this shit. Like she laid it out. And that to me is where a kind and empathetic soul comes into play, because it doesn't mean you don't call out injustice. It doesn't mean you don't beat somebody up if they need a beating, but it means that you see, you have got the message, you have learned the lesson, and now as your brother, as your sister, I extend my hand to just be like, hey, do better. Let's do, like, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't inviting him back into the Schmoedown. She was like, let's leave this man alone. Yeah. And I see you do stuff like that as well. And that is probably the biggest thing that I love about you, man.
All right, that's enough. Shut up. All right, thanks so much. Let's bring in someone live to hang out with us. Smithy, you're up next. Hold on, let me bring in Smithy. What's up?
What's up? Alan. Let me test my microphone. Ready? Wait, he left. He isn't even hearing my epic rendition of the song. What's up? That's right.
Go ahead.
That's right.
That's fine.
Why I'm hearing his like throat problem voice. It's serious. You got that going on, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, Drip Drip, what's up? How's it going, Winston? Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, Drip Drip indeed.
Now, this for me is, I'm not the biggest comic book person, but I totally loved Batman '89, and it is one of the best movies. I saw that thing 4 times in the theater. I mean, that's how old I am. Pretty old, but anyway. So
that's okay. I saw Dark Knight 4 or 5 times in the theater. That was my. Oh, yeah. I get to have the same conversation with the kids in a decade, so I get it, bro.
All right. Hey, in terms of mask wearing, I was just thinking the other day, isn't wearing a mask just like wearing underwear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just on the other side of your body, Right. There's an entrance here, there's an exit there, and you wear stuff on your exit. So when people are ripping on, I don't wear masks, then you say, well, you don't wear underwear either, obviously.
The only thing that I would say to be careful about that is because either A, sometimes your laundry is all dirty.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to swang. The other thing is, have you ever freeballed? It's pretty great unless you got to go for a run.
Oh,
yeah, no, I'm good.
Are we talking about you're dumping talcum powder down there?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard that Blurs in the Hood is sponsored by Manscaped, and there is a ball deodorant that you can use to kind of keep them dry. But I do like where your head's at. To me, the one that gets me is when they're trying to make fun of the people that wear it below their nose, and they're like, that'd be like trying to put a condom on and you put it over your balls, but not your actual penis. What are you doing? What are you doing?
We're just trying to trick some poor person, oh, this will work. Don't worry. This is how it works.
Y'all.
Well, hey, since I know you've got lots of people waiting, I was going to ask Winston, as a manager, how do you coach people in terms of their character? If Lon Harris is practicing behind the scenes, are you asking them to practice in character? Chandru Dice Clay, he's one of my favorite players. That he cracks me up. But anyway, so you know what I'm saying? How do you coach these guys?
It depends. I have done some directing as far as promos, but as far as the characters, I pretty much let everybody do their own thing unless they need help. So Chandru a little bit. I didn't direct him in all of these shots he's taking and all that kind of stuff, but working with him a little bit. All right, what do we want to do? Do you want to go full baby face and be super nice? Do you want to go heel? Are you a tweener? What are we doing here? And it's been a blend of me and Christian kind of guiding him there, and he's just found his stride. But Lon, I was excited. I was like, oh, cool, the professor, it'll be dope. The name Final Exam actually came from prime time or exam time and the professor. That was where my mind was originally at. And when I to them, they were Paul was like, I'm on board. And Lon goes, yeah, no, I honestly believe I got everything I could get out of the professor. I think I'm going to do some shit where I miss class and I don't do my homework and I'm just I don't know,
he's like Spicoli.
Yeah, he's I'm like the class clown. I'm like a delinquent. And I was like,
right,
delinquent. I don't hate that, bro. All right, let me run it by Christian and see if he good. And that has been all Lon. I haven't. Right. The only thing that I have directed Lon on is we've done the promo we did where he was over Video Drews and I was trying to find him in the park. I was directing that, but he improvised the whole fucking thing. Depends. Right. 1,000% depends.
You got some of the best characters in your faction. I'll tell you that. So,
thank you, brother, man. I appreciate that.
And quick movie recommendation: Enemy Mine.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
No, just because you know that movie. It's Louis Gossett Jr. plays an alien, and then Dennis Quaid is the white guy, and they crash land on a planet together, right? So
and Louis Gossett has, because he's an asexual person, he has the baby,
right?
And Dennis Quaid has to take care of the baby.
Well, don't spoil too much of it, because
I remember
it's in a landmine.
No, it's a science fiction movie. It's
no, I understand, but not mine. It's in your mind, but a mine.
Yeah, M-I-N-E. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking that was an interesting. You look through history, and there's always been films, like that. So
that's a good one. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that was a question we were asked against Shazam when we were defending the belt. I remember that. Yeah. I've been waiting for that question to come up at some point in the Schmoedown, and it came up. It was my turn to answer, and I was like, yes. So yeah, I love that movie. Such a great movie.
I enjoy
Thanks, Smith. Good to see you, man.
Good to meet you guys. And remember, you can cut me off at any point. Right?
Dude, you're killing it.
he's going to wait for me to stop. So
y'all think that's a banger. Wait until you. First of all, I don't think anything will ever top the swag theme. But wait until you hear the theme song for the IG show.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So the IG show will be debuting next week on Monday at 4 p.m. So you're still going to stay on Game Time. We just moved Game Time permanently to 1:30 now, so we can have Winston and Jay both on the show. So 4 p.m. this show. Tell the people what the show is about on SEN.
Yeah, so the show is so Christian came to me with this idea, and he was like, man, like, you know, I know how much InnerGeekdom means to you and all that kind of stuff. I have this idea for a show where we really just kind of get in the nitty gritty of it. So it's not just like it's not like a backstage or a rundown where it's just like all Schmoedown all the time. That is going to be a large part of it. But it's like, I want like all of these InnerGeekdom questions have way more meaning than say just like a random line from Driving Miss Daisy, because they're, you know, attached to a comic, or they are attached to a video game, or they're attached to some greater property that people love and that are near and dear to their heart. So what I want this show to be is a blend of acknowledging the InnerGeekdom division and the Schmoedown, but also marrying that to the actual properties. And that's essentially what it is. And so all the guests that I'm having on, most of them will be InnerGeekdom players, but I am opening it up to pretty much everybody. I'm even asking them going into it, like, what's your favorite of this? And I'll try and make sure that when we tackle that, we're focused on a franchise that you know you're going to knock out of the park. So already, like, talking to Rachel Cushing, she's like, yeah, I want to be on. And we talk in Lord of the Rings. I said, yes, ma'am. Like, I will not argue with you. You know, Brad Gilmore has been like, I want on and let's talk Back to the Future. And I was like, let's go. So, you know, there's a lot of good stuff coming. And I'm very excited about the show. I've obviously had my own shows before. I mean, you got PPN, for example. I do my Twitch shows and stuff. But this is the first time since PPN first started that I have the backing of somebody that's like, I 1,000% believe you can lead, you can drive this train. And would you? You know, and so that by itself is also very exciting. I'm very geeked out for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be fun, that one, that's for sure. And I'm glad you're staying on Game Time, man. I was afraid we are gonna lose you, man, because you know
I have to. We have to make that work,
man. I love it. Yeah, respect. All right, Chris. Speaking of which, Chris Taylor, Washington thick symbol greater than the Batman signal. Thanks for the laughs during Game Time on Mondays.
Bro,
definitely.
Do you remember my imitating the lady that got hit in the Senate?
Yeah, but you got hit with the tennis ball
with the piece of paper, and then she grabbed the other side of her head and shit, and took 5 hours.
Oh, that lady, yeah, right. She was the best. I love it. Chris Taylor also said, Winston, who should play a live action Goku? Interesting. All right,
great question. I don't know if I know the answer right now. I would need to think about it. I'm inclined to say, I don't know. I gotta think. Like, who are the top like martial artists, like actors right now? Because Jackie and Chad are both pretty old.
Yeah. Right now, isn't it all the guys from the Raid? Those guys are all pretty much like the flavor of the month right now. There's not a lot of martial artists working on this side of the continent right now, you know. So those guys seem to be the ones that step to mind in my head. So yeah.
No, I would just have to. I got to rewatch the Raid. But I would say you want to find whoever the premier star is. Don't worry about trying to find someone that looks like Goku. Make sure you find somebody that's got the martial arts experience, but then can give you the goofy Goku, I'm an idiot charisma. Because I think part of the reason why Evolution was trash, he wasn't really a dumbass, and Goku's a dumbass. Like, he is literally just the happy-go-lucky idiot that loves to fight. That's just like, and so you kind of need that energy. Like, he's an adult child.
Yeah. Louis Tan might be an interesting choice.
Good answer. I like Louis Tan. Donnie Yen would be good too.
We'll see what happens with Mortal Kombat, how that comes off, and how well he does in that for sure. John Mitchell says, just wanted to show my support. You're all over the place, Rocha. I can't keep up, LOL. At some point, I'm going to be even more. So we'll see. We'll see if things work out a certain way that I'm hoping for. I don't know. Let's just let it be. Let's let it be at that. All right. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, Drunken Prayer says no question, just enjoying the show. This feels like just watching two good friends have a conversation rather than an interview. Also, drip. Oh, thank you, Drake. I appreciate that.
All day, baby.
All day. Andrew H. He said, hello, Winston. Big fan. You've been incredible in the Schmoedown and hope you win Manager of the Year. Question. I really like your comedy style and was curious, what background do you have in comedy and stand-up, and what are some of your influences? Thanks. All right.
Well, you're welcome. I would say I've done everything from sketch to improv to stand-up. I would probably say what I've done the most would be sketch. But I did stand up for on again, off again for like 5 or 6 years. Seriously, the first 2 years, it kind of fell off the back end because stand up really is typically a nighttime activity. Right. Very rarely does it happen during the day. And at the time, I was working at Apple. So my days were at work. My nights allowed me to do stand up. I transitioned out of working retail into bartending because bartending tends to be more of a nighttime activity, so that kind of pushed me a little out of stand-up, right? But my influences, Dave Chappelle, top of that list. Chappelle Show, I could quote pretty much every single sketch verbatim, like 1,000%. Yeah. Will Smith, Richard Pryor, unfortunately, not anymore, but at the time, Louis C.K., because that same kind of humor and whatnot. I love what Key and Peele did, for sure. So all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that South Park is one of my favorite shows of all time. I think they hit the nail on the head because I'm a big advocate of, I don't mind clean comedy. I do like it, but I like comedy that, like, if I'm going to make you laugh, I want to talk about some shit.
Right.
That's where Chappelle and Pryor come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where South Park comes from. Like, fuck. Trying to think of a good episode recently.
I don't know. That Redskins episode was incredible.
Oh, it's phenomenal. That's a great example. That is a great fucking example. Just completely hitting on the head with that. It's why I love Rick and Morty. There's a lot of that in there too. You know what I mean? Shows like Community, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's, give me comedy with a message, and it doesn't mean that you need to beat me over the head with it, like hand and fist. But if you're just telling jokes just to tell jokes, nah. Like, the old adage is you laugh to prevent from crying. Let's work some shit out. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Cameron Hainsworth donated. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for a very kind donation. He said, because I love you both, put some of this towards your mic, Rocha. And honestly, you guys could do a game time every damn day and I would be there, but I support you all individually and collectively. You inspire me to get this novel I'm writing finished. Oh, that's very kind, Cameron. And yeah, hell yeah. Keep going on that novel, brother.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what was the question? I just thought he was saying something about a novel.
No, he's just saying that we inspire him to get this novel that he's writing finished. And he also mentioned,
get it done. I am the king of a million unfinished projects. Don't be me. Keep the hustle, because I'll keep that hustle going. But sometimes I run into trouble with final execution. Like, I'll be 80, 90% of the way there and then fall off. Like, one of the saddest things that I remember thinking of that, not even acting related. I did P90X.
Oh, yeah.
I got 75 days in, and on day 75, I got food poisoning. And it took me out for a couple days. And that really is like a 6-day a week, almost 7-day a week workout. The 7th day really is just like a stretch day, but it's a everyday type thing. And I was out for a few days, and I just could not get that fire back to finish the last, 15 days? Is that the math? Yeah. And it haunts me to this day because it was hard. It was hard as fuck. But once you got in the groove, you're like, let's go, motherfucker. So, like, finish that book, damn it. I want to read it. I don't even read that much.
And if sports were fully back, I would try to talk Winston and Jay into a more a game time more than once a week, because certainly there's a lot to talk about if we were all into that kind of stuff. So we'll see down the road. Keep the door open for everybody. Alan Smithy, one Streamlab, he said, thanks again, Rocha, for letting us meet all the awesome folks from the Schmoedown. Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you for watching, Alan, and thank you for the donation. You're the best, Winston. Drip drip. Can't wait for the IG show. Good luck with the move, Rocha, and break a leg with the upcoming gig.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring on some people live again here, Winston. Chris over here from Scotland, Drunken Prayer. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, dude. Doing well.
What up, Playboy?
What's up, man? Fucking 4:40 in the morning over here now.
Oh my God. I'm going to send you a coffee?
Send me another beer.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a question until you were talking about Dragon Ball Z there a couple of minutes ago. I don't know. Have you ever read an article from I don't know if it's a woman called Gita Jackson?
The name sounds familiar. What was the article?
She did an article called "Why Black Men Love Dragon Ball Z."
Yes, I have read that article. Okay,
you have read that. I was just because if you hadn't, I was going to recommend it, and I was going to kind of ask your thoughts on it. How much that actually, if you think that's an accurate reflection of why.
Yeah,
obviously people like me like the show, but obviously I'm from a different culture.
Yeah,
like how much is it?
I
black perspective.
Yeah, I would need to reread the article because she had a lot of really strong points in it. But I know for me, there's other than the action, which was super dope, there is this level of just like, even though Goku always is the best, I think the thing that sticks out is the idea that it's like I can overcome anything. And one of the things about being kind of the other is there is this level of like a lot of black dudes, like they love Goku, but a lot of black dudes saw themselves in either Gohan, which is like, I'm just trying because we were kids. So the kid element kind of builds in. You kind of have Piccolo because he was no nonsense and he was that G, he was a badass. But a lot of black people really that I've seen have resonated with Vegeta. And the thing is it's like, I'm busting my ass. I'm working 400 times drafting, and this motherfucker Goku's still ahead of me. What the fuck is this? And so there's that level of giving it your all, pushing yourself to the nth degree, just going for it. And if you really do get there, you're gonna stumble and fall. There will still be people that are better than you, but if you give it that 1,000%, you can get to the other side of it, man. And there's something about that just I feel like resonates so hard. Also, the idea, remember, they always run into somebody who's infinitely stronger than the last person they fucking fought. So like that adds to it too. The idea of like let's put more, So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think that appeals to a lot of nerd culture as well, not necessarily even just black, like people like myself who were nerds growing up, like that idea of the underdog, rising up against the odds, really appeals. It's like a Rocky story, essentially.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
My girlfriend says that to me. We were having dinner the other day. She said the same thing. She's like, "Why don't you think that it's like? Why do you always think you have to fight against the odds?" I'm like, This is our life as nerds. This has always been the thing. From a certain age, we were beat up and made fun of. I know now it's cool to be into this shit in high school, but like when we were in high school, it was like something you hid away and stuck. So the idea of not being the cool kid was always prevalent throughout your life. The idea that you're not the starting quarterback, you can't get the head cheerleader, you can't. And so for me, that's just ingrained in my body. That's why my story in the Schmoedown is the way it is. In my mind, I seem to have manifested the idea of being the underdog, fighting through everything to get to the top. Because people don't think of me as the most knowledgeable. They always go to Ethan or Bibbs or Dan or anything like that. But only Danny and I have been there to the mountaintop multiple times, and Kalinowski's another one. So, for I may not have the most knowledge, but I fight and scratch and claw to get there. And that's part of being the nerd. That nerd in me is part of what drives that. So I totally get what you're saying, Chris. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, you're one of the hardest fighters in the league, Rocha. We'll always say that.
Fighters, sure. If I ever get enough knowledge, God, look out. Maybe I'll do that one. 75. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, bro, get some rest or another beer, whatever's your fancy.
Yeah. All right, we're bringing in people live, but we still would love to get some super chats and Streamlabs to finish out the night here for Winston and I. So, Malcolm, let's bring you in here from where are you in Australia or New Zealand? Malcolm?
New Zealand.
What's up, bud? This is Winston.
yeah, I've met Winston before, but yeah, I apologize if you've already talked about this earlier, but I've got a backup question. But what do you think of the rules that the Oscars are planning on bringing in 2024 that to be nominated for Best Picture, they have to have X amount of representation over 2 categories?
Yeah, I love it. When I initially heard it, I was not for it because I thought it was just you have to have X amount of percentage of your cast be Black, Latino, whatever. And I was like, as much as I'm over the straight white man story, like, let's not do that because now you're going to run into trouble. But what they're saying, and that this is the thing, you just have to cover a number of bases. So it could be your actors, either lead or supporting, or it could be your cameraman or your director or your costume designer or your executive producer, or it could be, if you're not doing that, you're providing internships and opportunities for people that get passed over, because normally what ends up happening is, let's say Rocha was white for half a second and he, like, his nephew wanted to be in the biz and he goes, cool, I'm giving you a show on Outlaw Nation, instead of going, hey, let me actually look out here and like try and find a young upstart. And maybe it's like, you know, because Rocha's been alive for what, 1,000 centuries. So like it would have been like a situation where it's like, I just come straight out of college and he goes, huh, this kid like did really well in school. He's interested in film. Hey, why don't you come and intern? And, you know, maybe we'll give you a show if you do well. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to make it doesn't mean that now all the stories that are told are Black or queer or Latino or Asian or whatever. It's let's get everybody in the business of storytelling. And let's make sure that everybody is in the business of watching these stories that everyone is telling, not just one select group, but everybody. And that by itself, the fact that they gave us multiple rules that they can use to cover those bases, I am all, both in front and behind the camera, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of what the Wells Fargo guy said. That was reported that he said, you know, I can't promote Black people because it's hard to find qualified Black people in my employ. And it's like, it's because you haven't hired a lot of Black people and trained them and given them the opportunities. It's tough to find people to advance if you have a systemic situation where you're constantly not hiring people of color and then complaining that you can't promote them because they're not around. That's not how it works. And what Hollywood is doing here, and certainly the Oscars so white, this has been happening for quite a few years now, this change. And again, once again, this feels overnight. They make this decision, of course, giving production companies and studios 4 years to kind of make this happen and get them into the rhythm of it. Because starting next year, they'll have to submit a confidential email detailing how many people of color they have had for each of the movies that are going to be nominated for Oscars. It won't eliminate them from being nominated for 4 years, but it's to get people into the rhythm of doing it, get studios into the practice of doing it. And everybody who complained, of course, were the crazy red state celebrities like freaking Kirstie Alley and Dean Cain, who are never going to sniff an Oscar-winning film ever in their careers, complaining and trying to get attention, trying to get clicks, trying to get likes, trying to get follows for their nuttiness. But the real truth is, some of the liberals were complaining here in this industry as well, in the city. Don't let Hollywood fool you. It is liberal as you think it is. Once you start to inflict some kind or encroach rather on their employment, all of a sudden these white actors who are so liberal start to get upset. And so that's the situation here. These people who've been holding on to jobs and have relied on their buddies giving them jobs film to film to film now might be in danger of losing these jobs because they're not exactly at the top of their game, but they've just relied on doing the bare minimum and getting these jobs over and over again
because of who they know. And I'm not saying that you don't tap into, like, any smart business person in general. Do you go with, let me take the high risk, or do I go with something that I already know is like a done deal, that like this person will do the job properly? Yep. The problem is, a lot of these underrepresented groups are not getting the opportunity to prove that they can do the job properly. And that's all that this is. So you could go and tell, like, I personally didn't like that they did enough. I see that it's a good film, but I didn't enjoy the newest Little Women. And my whole reasoning behind it is, I was like, this is the 7th iteration of this film. Why couldn't you have turned it on its ear and done it about like 4 Black Little Women, you know what I'm saying? Or 4 Asian Little Women. You could have just actually changed the story. I know narratively there were a lot of things that oh my God, how did I forget? Greta Gerwig. Like, I know Greta did a lot of tweaking, and she did narratively tell that story exceptionally well. A lot of people say that's the best iteration of Little Women they've seen. But the core of it was the same. So at the very least, if what I had found out is like, okay, yeah, it's about 4 white women again, and we telling this whole thing all over again. But did you know that the entire production team was black, and that the entire grips were Asian, and that the DP was Latino, and you know, the executive producer is like a queer woman of color? You know what I'm saying? Like, if all of a sudden you're telling me everybody was collectively telling the story, little things will start to sprout up in the actual movie that open us up to a scope that's not just the one we're used to. And that's really, I think, the aim of doing this. Not only giving people an opportunity, but it's to let us see something else. I mean, how many people have openly been like, wow, racism is real, sexism is real, because they watched a movie, right? You know, right. So that's the aim of this, is to help further tell that story.
And we're still doing it today. It got announced that Ron Howard is going to direct a biopic about this Chinese classical pianist Lang Lang. The memoir is Journey of 1,000 Miles, but Ron Howard is directing it. Brian Grazer is producing it, and the two writers are white. And so the director of Farewell, she came out and she said, this is ridiculous. You have to get a Chinese director for this to understand the nuance of this culture, the Chinese culture, and get it right. And look, just had Mulan, and I don't want to blame Nikki Caro too much, but certainly they didn't nail a lot of the Chinese essential part of that, the Chinese elements of that story to appeal to the Chinese audience. Because look at the box office in China; it's not doing well. So these kinds of things now are starting to become very important. And I was shocked that she called out Ron Howard, but I think it was fair. And Ava DuVernay retweeted it, so that tells you there's a movement here to not have that stuff happen anymore.
If not at least directed, which you would hope that that's what would happen. Get a Chinese producer.
Chinese writer, man.
Any of the major elements of that storytelling, because, like, again, you shouldn't be afraid to tell a story that is maybe not your own, but do not try and be an expert on it, and also don't go into that without somebody that is.
It's like Spike saying he didn't want Norman Jewison to direct Malcolm X. People may not remember this. Norman Jewison was lined up to direct Malcolm X until Spike Lee stepped in and made us think about it and said, there's no way you're letting a white man direct Malcolm X's story. It's got to be a black man, and I want to do it. And he had to lobby people. He couldn't even get money from the studio to finish the film. He had to borrow money from, unfortunately, Bill Cosby and other black entertainers at the time to finish the movie. And look at the incredible film he was able to create. So it's the unfortunate truth, Malcolm, of this business sometimes.
My bad. You opened up a can of worms, bro.
No, it's all good. It's one of those ones like I knew that it was going to do that, but it's one of those ones like I'm always interested to see people's perspectives on it, because it's actually changed what I initially thought of it too. Because if you look at the slate of Best Picture nominees from last year, a lot of them probably wouldn't be eligible under these new rules. Like 1917, I don't know too much about that. That one might be one of them that won't get it.
But I think that's the whole thing, though. What you made an incredible film with 1917. What's to say that you couldn't have taken I cannot see this again. This is why it's not, but we don't cover cinematographers in the Schmoedown, do we?
Right. No, Roger Deakins, we do not. No.
Okay, so the cinematographer of Creed.
Yes.
Could have beautifully shot 1917.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what's to say that you couldn't still make as good, if not better, of a movie if you're also including people that aren't all of the same community? Yeah. That's what this ultimately comes down to, is there is a vice grip in Hollywood, mainly of white people, mainly of white men. Yeah. All you're doing is you're trying, like, what is wrong with opening that up? Because there are so many people that go to the same expensive ass film schools at NYU and USC and with the same internships, have been millions upon millions of views on YouTube with their short films and their idea. Look at Insecure. Issa Rae killed it with Awkward Black Girl on YouTube as a web series, and now Insecure is out here. I'm so sad that they only got the one Emmy win, but like numerous Emmy nominations have been put on the map, where HBO touts it as much as they were touting, like, say, a Game of Thrones or a True Blood. and they just realize that they're really hitting the black community, but you got people outside the black community that love that show too, and it's doing better than Girls ever did. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is to say that difference can't be just as good, if not better?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll ask a backup question because it's a very quick one. But if Christian was to tell you that a famous actor was joining the Schmoedown next season, who would you give heaven and hell to get on your team next year?
Oh, who would it be? Hell or high water, get on my team.
Yeah.
Sadly, but he's gone. Chadwick. It's not just because he's gone, but I just knowing how much he studied and made it his all. Chadwick would have blown that out of the water. If not him, then Viola Davis.
Yeah,
they both have that. This is their everything in their life.
Yeah, powerful impact. Thanks, Malcolm. Appreciate it, man.
It's all good. See you
later, brother.
All right, let me see if we've got any more. Quincy, can you hang on? We got like 6 more people who are waiting.
You're good.
Okay, cool. All right, J-Dog, what's going on, man?
Howdy.
There's that radio voice that we know and love.
Oh, thank you so much, Winston. You know, you've got a hockey team in Dallas that's 3 wins away from their first Stanley Cup win since 1999. Talk about them a little bit more.
Bro, I got to hold that Stanley Cup. So the 1999 one, because so that pompous ass private school I went to, the Ross Perot's grandkids went there with me, and the Wilson brothers, Owen and Luke, both went to that, were graduates of that school and all that stuff, right? So these rich ass fucking old school Texas ass rich people, they were like, "Yo, let's get the Stanley Cup in here," and they did. I got to fucking touch it, so let's go. Let's definitely go win this motherfucker.
Right.
Did you have to wear gloves for the cup or no?
You would think so, but like I may not have been a rich kid, but it is rich kids, so you just got to do whatever. It was in glass, but they just let touch it anyway. Which I don't know why they did that, but fuck it. Like we didn't break it, but we did probably get hand marks all over it.
I say this because there's a set photo of Monk back in 2007 where Tony Shalhoub, of course, his character was OCD. Yeah, and he had, didn't want to touch anything. He's actually wearing gloves when he's hugging the Stanley. He was like almost hugging the Stanley Cup. It's not in the episode, but I guess you know how it is. Like set visits of TV shows, the Stanley Cup goes everywhere. It goes from schools, as you mentioned, sets of TV shows, theaters, things like that. But you got to touch. Wow, I only get to look at it on TV.
Okay, what's your question, Jay?
Question is, when all this passes over, what movie are you? It won't pass over for a while. Let's face it. The pandemic is here to stay. There's not going to be a vaccine for a long time. I mean, regardless of what CDC or politicians say, it's not going to be around for a while.
The morning of November 3rd. Yeah, right.
Yeah. My mother went to the supermarket the other day, and there was a guy that wasn't wearing a mask, and she's like, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" He goes, "Well, because there'll be a vaccine right after Election Day." And she's like, "Okay, I'm going to move over here and get away from you, you crazy man."
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask was, is there a movie that you want to see in theaters very soon? But, I know here in New Hampshire, we're having problems with that because, like, Regal Cinema, I want to see No Time to Die, but I think it's going to get delayed or they're not going to open up the cinema in time. I want to see Coming to America. I don't know if they're going to open that up in time. But is there a movie that you want to see within the next few months if you want to take that risk and go to the theater, like with your girlfriend or with a friend?
My girlfriend and a friend of ours are going to actually make the attempt to go see Tenet at a drive-in. Since they did well enough, they did announce that they're going to allow that. I know it doesn't have quite the same experience as an IMAX or anything else like that, but I've been super excited to see John David Washington go and be a lead in this movie. Like he did so well in Black Klansman and has done so well in Ballers, not to be slept on. I can't wait for that. But honestly, I'm a comic book movie sucker. So I'm very upset that Wonder Woman and Black Widow have both been pushed back. Not only because they looked like amazing movies, but who also doesn't love to see like badass women being badass. So those are probably my top 3 that I think about that I want to see. Maybe I'm a little short-sighted that I can't think beyond what we've already missed. But
well, everything's been delayed, so
right. Yeah.
Mine is Bond, definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Top Gun Maverick, abso-fucking-lutely, because
that's next year.
Yeah, well, it's got pushed to next year, but it was
gonna got pushed to next year. So, I know. In my mind, I think it should have. By the way, Rocha, it should have been 2021 to make it 35 years after.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I just think it's more apropos to have it in 2021 and then it was in 2020. But I know people were. I know you were talking about it when the trailer came out, clamoring for June of 2020 for Top Gun Maverick to come out because you two characters are going to Top Gun.
That is the film of my youth, man. Whenever I'm down, it is the one film I always put on that'll pick up my spirits, man. Every loss after the Schmoedown, I've put on Top Gun later on that night just to kind of pick me up a little bit. I love that.
Biggest movie of 1986.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Good seeing you, man.
Take care. Yep. Take care, guys. Yep.
All right. Chadwick, you've been waiting to come on. Let's bring him on. Chadwick, what's going on, dude? Oh, fix your mic. Fix your mic.
Squad, drip. Yep.
Let's go, drip.
Yep. Hey,
what's up, guys?
What Ace of Time fucking tournament? Yeah.
We're always over. I'm new to the Outlaw Nation. I came over from Dan Merle's Patreon, and we're always over there during matches, rooting for swag. So
thank you, brother, man.
Super excited for you guys. Yeah. Your promos are like the best too. Everyone's always cracking up with the Batman Winston, and I think you did Bond too or something.
I did Batman was today. That was Paul and Schneider. I did a doctor for Liz versus Silvestrini. I did Jules from Pulp Fiction for Liz versus Chan.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And just, man, I just go for it. And like what I want to do more of, I've just been too busy. I like those the promos. So not even the ones that come right before the match, but like Roxy's talk some shit before the Star Wars tournament started with the play-in match, and I did that like Lando Colt 45 commercial. Like that's just fucking fun to me, man. I'm such a bad editor, but I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to make this look like a VHS tape, and we go make this shit work. So no, it's fun, bro. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, even when you just pop on old Winston, that was great. So.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I just had a couple things I was going to bring up. One thing is over in Merle's movie club that we do. He's having us watch Boys in the Hood.
Good.
And, yeah, we were just watching, and I was like, I better pop on here see if I can get on. But yeah, we got to the Larry Fishburne speech that he gives. Mm-hmm. That's just right there is when the movie just kind of kicks in for me, and I was like, wow, okay, this is something special right here.
Yeah.
That is why people wonder why it's like, why is it always gotta make a race thing? Why are you trying to put a black wheel slice? What the fuck does that even mean? Because honestly, again, all of your favorite movies that you've ever seen before that, I guarantee you that there is one or two, if not hundreds, of movies that have gone through blaxploitation or the heyday of 90s black films, or even now, that will have you laughing or crying or thinking just as hard. Mm-hmm. And so it is like Boys in the Hood, absolute classic for that particular reason. You know what I'm saying? But then like I did so my Patreon, I do watch alongs as well. We did the two we've done so far. We did Undercover Brother, which is one of the silliest fucking movies, but it's fucking hilarious. And we watched in one night, we watched all three of the Friday movies, which again, are they the greatest movies of all time? No, but like culturally significance wise and what they did, they are so good. So that's why my big push. I'm so glad to hear that you guys are watching that. I hope you enjoy the. Have you seen it before?
I saw it once, like a long time ago, I think. But like the category for this month's movie club is first time director, so it's John Singleton's
his first
movie. So yeah, we
shit. Either they don't know.
had something I was going to say. I'll get into, I guess, one of my questions that I was going to ask. Since October's coming up, are you at all a horror fan? And what are some of your favorite movies if you are?
So it is no secret that I'm kind of on par with Makuga and hating horror, everything, haunted houses, haunted movies. I'm more inclined to watch a scary movie than I am to do a haunted house or something like that. But I'm going to tell you, you're only watching it with me if you've already seen it, because otherwise I am the stereotypical black dude and I'm talking through the whole movie because I have to talk my way through it so I don't shit myself. So I'm just like, damn, that grandma clearly gonna be evil. Watch. I just go, oh shit, grandma just ripped somebody's titty off. Yep, nope, she evil. She evil as fuck. Like, I have to, otherwise I'm not gonna do okay. So just a warning.
Yeah, I went to a haunted house not that long ago. I could barely handle it, and it's one of the least scary ones apparently. So,
fuck haunted house. Funny story. I got banned from Not Scary Farm for like 5 years because I was I already told everybody I don't do it. Someone said, "No, it's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. You'll be good." We went. They're not supposed to touch you. Someone couldn't get my attention. Grabbed me on my shoulder. I turned around and uppercutted the shit out of a dude in costume. Took me to the sir, you can't punch people out. We're gonna have to ban you from the park for a while. And I was like, it's fine. I don't ride roller coasters anyway. I don't give a fuck. Get me the fuck out of here. That's fine. Can I have my money back? No, you can't. All right, well, go fuck yourself. So it's all good, bro.
I did Universal Horror Nights for 1 year, and I played a Walking Dead guy. I was leading them and stuff, I made it very clear to the fans who were going into the maze, you can't touch these people, you cannot hit them, they will jump out and scare you. If you hit them, you will get pulled out and kicked out of the park for years. Because some of these people, they go and they drink and they go late at night with Halloween Horror Nights, and they get scared and they unleash, and punch or whatever. So got nothing but respect for the performance, because they're not getting paid that much to do this job.
No, and that's the whole thing, is that I respect them too. Being an actor myself, and you're trying to keep character and all that shit. Can you imagine being fuck my mouth, oh shit, So
Jennifer Grey Ferris Bueller just kick, yeah.
And to be again, I didn't mind getting thrown out because I told my friends, I don't want to do this, but you have bullied me into doing it, so fine, I will go. But this might be the only time you get me to go. So enjoy it while you can. There you are.
All right. So maybe here real quick, is this maybe going to change your mind a little bit, since we're having a lot of black directors coming in to do horror movies?
I mean, I won't lie.
Candyman.
Jordan Peele has gotten me into 2, and I was actually going to watch Candyman because he's also associated. I won't lie. But Get Out was so easy to instantly jump into, because it was as a black man that my girlfriend is white, and I've dated other white women before. I grew up in the suburbs. That is my greatest nightmare. I show up, I'm the only black person there, and then secretly all of a sudden all the hoods come down. So
get him. Awesome.
We also had a movie club with Get Out on there, and we had who did we have? Ed Greer was on there and did a discussion on Get Out. That was really cool.
I was sad I didn't get to keep him on the team, man. Unfortunately, he was too busy this season, but it's all good. Right. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Chadwick. Appreciate you coming in, man. Thanks for being on too, brother. All right, awesome guy, man. He sent me a really nice email for the Patreon. I'm supposed to respond to it, but I'm getting around. I'm setting aside time every week to respond to people's emails.
I need to do that myself, man. Honestly,
set aside. So I'm going to send him an email for sure. Corey Cameron, what's up, dude? How are you, man?
Hey,
thanks for waiting.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. Swag, drip.
Hey, what's up, baby? Yeah.
Great conversation tonight. And go Cowboys.
Hey, let's go. The fuck is trash.
Hey, Chadwick, you almost took my question there, Chadwick, but I can't ask my question before saying that the question writing for the Schmoedown this year has been phenomenal. But Winston, I know you've been an advocate for getting more Black movies and African American movies written about for Schmoedown. and kind of just want to know what kind of effort you've put in. I know these last couple of weeks, I know Eddie Murphy, I know the Founding Fathers even took Angela Bassett in their match just recently and killed it. But the effort that I don't know if there might be a coalition to put something out there, but I know that you're an advocate for it, Winston. Kind of talk about what you're doing to push that forward.
No, for sure. I first of all want to give a lot of credit to PJ. He has intentionally made sure that round 1 questions, round 2 questions are including more and more of that. I don't know if you've noticed, like randomly, like the one that sticks out to me, and I almost cussed Liz out after the match, was Eddie Murphy played, homie from Sexual Chocolate, and like in what film? And I was like, okay, this is a layup. This is the easiest 1-pointer of all time. And one of them said what I think Rachel said. I think she said like Nutty Professor. Yeah. And then like Liz said like God, I don't even remember what the other one was, like Dr. Dolittle. It was something wild. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Y'all don't know Coming to America? And like Liz and I talked after, she's like, I do, but like he didn't give obviously enough characters that immediately popped in my brain. Obviously, if they had said Akeem, that it's over. Like everybody knows that. You were intentionally trying to draw them away. I remember. Liz said Nutty Professor. Rachel said Dolomite is my name. And I was like, what?
Yeah. I remember that.
But I give PJ a lot of credit for that. And then the other part where I give PJ even more credit, as vocal as I have been, he has hit me up multiple times. All right, don't know if we're going to be able to get a full-blown black slice on there because there's a little bit too much pushback. That does not mean that we cannot still do it in some form or fashion. So he's like, what directors, what actors, what black filmmakers do I need to look at to make whole categories out of, and also just include into general question, like the general question pool. And what I actually love about what we're doing for our watch-alongs, and I give credit to both Sol Govin and Cheryl Corman. Those are 2 of my mods in my Discord and on my Twitch and whatnot. When we do these watch-alongs, which I highly encourage people to do, we're specifically focusing on black films that you need to have watched. So Undercover Brother and the Friday series were the first. I think what we're probably going to do next is maybe a love story. So maybe like Love and Basketball. And that would be great. We're all writing down random questions for the Schmoedown as we watch the movies. So someone goes, "Oh shit!" Like I got a question for you. Who has a small? It's probably a 5-pointer. Who has a very brief cameo in the original Friday, movie at the Dice Game?
Ooh, I don't know.
Got me on that one. I'm just thinking of Red and Debo there.
Right. But he doesn't have a line. He just like says, "Oh shit" and whatever. It's Michael Clark Duncan. So like that would be like
you're right.
Be a 5-pointer because it's like it is a cameo, and maybe you don't use that, but like these are the little things we're looking at, like from the basic things of like what character is always like stay off my grass, Stanley, up to something like that. So like it's fun because I'm getting to introduce people that haven't seen it or people that have before get to relive it, but we're also collectively working to make that happen, to make more black movies appear in the Schmoedown.
Yeah. Nice. Wow. I like that.
Thanks, bro.
Corey.
Thank you.
See you, man.
You. Yeah, have a good night.
Have a good one.
Man. Such a great guy. Okay, guys, keep it quick. We got 15 minutes left. I want to get through everybody, and I still have for like 4 Streamlabs to read real quick. Adrian, coming in from England. Thanks for staying up, brother. How are you?
I'm actually in North Wales, John.
Oh, from Wales.
Yeah. I'm not Welsh, but I live in North Wales.
Okay. All good. I'm not Californian, but I live in California. I get it, bro.
I spoke to Rachel Cushing, I spoke to Laura Kelly, I spoke to Mark Riley, I've even spoke to Christian Harloff, but I've been looking forward to this one. Well, next to John Walker, Winston, you are my hero, my friend.
Wow. Thank you, brother. Wow.
Yeah, I've loved the way how you've brought yourself up through the Schmoedown as the manager of Swag, and I sent a message through to the Schmoedown saying you should be manager of the year.
Wow. Thank you, brother. I certainly hope so. It's up to the fans, and we still have a lot of work to do. It's not even October yet, and this ends in December. So we have a lot of work to do as a unit, and I certainly hope that we can continue to ride high. But even if I don't get it, I'm really proud of what our group has done, and I want to continue to be a part of that. I want to continue to be a part of making them great, and they're great on their own. I'm the paprika in the recipe. They the meat and the potatoes and everything. I'm just the paprika. That's it.
Well, you've got an ally in me, Winston, always, because I love swag.
Thank you, brother. We're glad to have you. I don't love the
Fin Stock Exchange, John.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, my quick question is, what movie franchise to use that stood the test of time?
What franchise will stand the test of time?
Yes, and to you as well, John.
Okay.
I mean, Star Wars, even with all of the drama in this last trilogy, I don't think we're ever not going to be talking about Jedi and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, even as bad as this last trilogy was for people at various times, everybody was still in there to see the lightsabers and the Force and everything else. You know what I mean? So I think that's one. And I honestly think the MCU will survive as long as they don't beat it into the ground. We'll go back and watch what happened from Iron Man to Endgame and go, that was probably the most incredible run we've ever seen for a series of movies. That's never happened before. And it may never happen again, honestly. I don't even know if Marvel can repeat the same magic.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a great choice. Well, I think the Harry Potter ones, right? I mean, people love those ones so much, and you can argue maybe the first two are little kids' films, but then you get to that third one that Cuarón directed, and it's incredible. You can skip Goblet of Fire if you want, but then Order of the Phoenix is fantastic. The Half-Blood Prince is good. Then the Deathly Hallows 1 and 2. Yeah, one's a little slow when they get to the 10th, but overall, that's a great combo. I think those are going to stand the test of time, and people love them. And it isn't like the Lord of the Rings movies is another one too. I think people just love those things. I don't think it'll ever get old for the ones that love it. I've seen a lot of people quote Sam's speech at the end there when they're at the mountain and they have to carry it just that little bit extra farther recently, especially for Mental Health Awareness Month. So that's one that kind of will resonate for people, I think, for a very long time.
I've never heard you compliment Lord of the Rings once in my time watching Schmoedown, John. I'm surprised at that one. Well, to me, it's got to be the Bond films for me personally.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I didn't like Spectre or Skyfall because I think they were too drama based for me. I love a good action film, so up to Quantum of Solace. I liked them, but for me, it's the Bond films because I grew up watching Bond. My favorite Bond is Sir Roger Moore. So that's what I want to say. And one quick thing, John and Winston, you were talking about was it Dragon Ball before?
Probably, yeah.
That's a really awful one with James Masters playing Goku.
I saw it. It was.
I was I just wanted to put that out there. I just didn't know if you've seen it or not because I thought I've never watched an episode of Dragon Ball in my life until I still haven't watched one, but I watched that movie and I thought, what a piece of trash.
Yep.
There you
That's
go.
probably why you cut me off the series.
Well, thanks, Adrian. We appreciate it, man. Thanks again for staying up, brother. It's always good to have you on the show when you come on.
It's all right. I'm not going to go back to bed now, John. Anyway, it's 20 past 5 in the morning. Anyway, let's just stay up now.
Yeah, get yourself a brekkie. Get yourself a brekkie, man. Get some stuff.
Anyway, thanks, Winston. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you soon, John.
Swag Squad.
There it is.
He knows. It's fine. He knows.
All right, let's bring on Amy. Amy, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you, Amy. Haven't seen you in a bit. How are you?
I know. I've been busy working, so less time to, watch the YouTube things. How are you?
Good. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're working. A lot of people are struggling, so it's good to hear that you're working.
Yeah. I actually have a question. Going back to like seasonal depression, because I have seasonal depression as well, and with work, it's kind of been slowing down a little bit, which is great. But the work atmosphere is pretty great because they really do push personal growth and career development, which I love. But it's kind of like I kind of feel guilty whenever I have downtime that I'm like not doing. It feels like I'm not doing enough because sometimes with depression, you just, well, at least for me, it manifests itself in like feeling really tired and having kind of like no motivation to do anything. So I was just wondering kind of how you guys handle that, if you guys feel it.
Yeah. I would think for me, because like, even though most of mine isn't as much seasonal as it's situational. So like, for example, if I'm in a situation where if I'm not creating, I can go a brief period of time without doing it. But if I go too long without it, I genuinely get drained and get super, super fucking depressed. But I'll have random days where I'll just I can feel the wave coming. And what I've learned now I guess it's been almost a full decade of dealing with this, to not fight it, to write it. So to literally treat it like my therapist told me to treat it like surfing and to ride the wave. So acknowledge that you're dealing with it and acknowledge that you are down, and don't try and just push it out of your body. Accept it for what it is. Put checks and balances in place before you get to that point. So if you're getting really, really low and you're concerned about your safety, that there's something there to balance you out. But we all look at what the state of the world is in. We've never really had a pandemic like this before. We've never seen people's jobs evaporate like this before. Relationships are being turned on their ears, whether it be familial or intimate or whatever. So the biggest thing you can do is look to allow yourself to feel it, to protect yourself. So whether that is taking a day off to binge all of Rick and Morty, or to go to the beach and just be by yourself, or to go to foster a dog for a couple weeks or something, whatever brings you that sense of grounded sanity, to take the proper time to do it, because the only worst thing that you could do is to try and ignore it or to fight it. And then all you're doing is you're making it worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Winston nailed it for the most part there. I think the other thing I would add is to really be aware of your breathing. Most important things I was taught when I almost took my life in 2016, and I went through 6 months of very intense therapy with 2 different therapists. One of the things that one of the therapists taught me that I had never thought about was breathing. This idea of when it comes for you, sometimes these overwhelming feelings of like inadequacy, or that you're not doing enough, or that you're overwhelmed by the fact that you feel like you should be doing more, but you don't know what to do. The really simple thing you can do is breathe. And it isn't just in and out. It's inhale, hold it, then let it out, and hold it at the bottom as well for a while, for like 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds, and then breathe again up, hold it for 5-10 seconds, and then breathe out. And you'll be amazed at how quickly your heart rate will start to drop. Your anxiety will kind of dissipate a little bit, and you'll feel like you're moving into a place where you can ride out what is happening with you and kind of navigate through it. So, I mean, those I had a panic attack, I think like 4 or 5 weeks ago, because I was like feeling like my channel wasn't, getting to, because I have unrealistic expectations of myself. So I was like in this place of like, no, there has to be more. There needs to be, and it was like this thing. And I got lost for 4 hours. I mean, I just got lost for 4 hours. So I understand completely those feelings, even as much as I've accomplished in a short period of time. For me, I'm like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So that can overwhelm you. And especially nowadays when I'm living off what I'm doing here. And so it's like, it's even more important to constantly be thinking of new and interesting ways to do that and stay ahead and create content. So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, where you feel like you should be doing more, So
last little tidbit specifically for the depression of I should be doing more. I've become a big advocate. I've always kind of been this way, but especially now. Let's see if I can turn my camera to show you. So I have, come on. So you can sort of see there's some whiteboards right there on my wall, and I have my to-do list of stuff to do. I put the bigger things on there that I need to make sure I cover in the day or the week, but I put little things. I put something as simple as take out the trash. I know to take out the trash. I see it's piling up. It smells like ash. Sure, he's digging through it. I get it. But if I do even the tiniest thing of take out the trash, make my bed, whatever little things, that little sense of accomplishment to not only do it, but then to cross it the fuck off, I do feel like it gives me that little baby bump because there is a little success there. And then you can also start to slowly silence that mind that's telling you, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Well, you're doing something. Yep. You can't give 100% every single day, but if you can even give 1%, hell, if you can give 0.5%, that's better than 0. And that a lot of times is enough to help keep you on board,
Absolutely. And
That's
Amy,
a good quote.
that is. And when you get to that point where you're ready to explore why it is this is so ingrained in you, that's going to be the next step. Once you understand how to navigate the process, then it's like, okay, what are the triggers that are initiating these thoughts, initiating this feeling? And when you learn to deprogram those triggers, then you're going to find that you'll have an easier time dealing with this and navigating with this, and it comes with age. So you seem from what I'm looking at you seem young, and so you're still kind of this navigating all of this in a certain place. Eventually there will be a time where you kind of have a way to understand what is happening for you and a more seasoned, experienced approach to what to do. But for now, I think everything Winston suggested, and the breathing and meditation even can be very essential. Even taking a walk just for an hour, listening to your favorite music can kind of get you out of that and put you back a little more.
You're young, but you seem wise. It might be the glasses. Yeah, I don't know, but you seem like you have some wisdom.
Glasses always trick people to thinking you're smarter. I do agree. And I am young because I watched Top Gun recently for the first time.
Oh, okay. I watched Top Gun for the first time back in December. I got you, girl. I'm right there, babe.
Because I know John really likes it, and I literally finished watching. I was like, I don't get it.
I know.
What's happening?
You weren't 16 in 1986. That's when you get it.
It's unapologetic.
Yeah, I also wasn't in the military, so I was just like, this is everything. Is just that song just keeps playing throughout the movie, and I don't get it.
Unapologetically 80s. You think that's bad? Go watch Cocktail if you haven't.
Oh, Cocktail. That's a TV movie masquerading as a theatrical film. Yeah.
One last fun question. I was just wondering what your favorite fall flavors are, like pumpkin spice lattes, cinnamon rolls, things like that.
Cinnamon roll. Fuck. Yeah. Peach cobbler. Peach cobbler. I'm a black boy from the South. Peach cobbler all day.
Pecan pie, man. Always pecan pie. Cinnamon rolls, absolutely. I've kind of stopped doing the pumpkin spice latte because my girlfriend's like, "Don't be a basic bitch," so I can't have any of that. But I will have pumpkin pie and I will have pecan pie. Those are my fall flavors for sure.
Okay,
awesome,
great. Thank you for all the great advice.
You're welcome. Anytime you need to reach out, and I don't know if Winston feels the same, but anytime you need to reach out, we are available. So, if you need to reach out, it gets rough, just DM me on Twitter or send me something on Facebook or whatever, or even through the Patreon if you're part, or the Discord if you're part of it, because I'm happy to be there if you need a conversation or to help somebody navigate a moment for you. No problem. Just letting you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
You too. Bye.
All right, that was awesome. I got 2 more, Winston. I'm sorry, brother. I know we're running out of time.
Okay, it's okay.
Level 2, make it quick, man. What's up, brother?
Hey guys. Hey Winston and John. Trying to make this quick.
This is an accident.
Glad to see there's some Caribbean representation there. I'm from Trinidad, so that is why you would always hear. One thing, is it chicken curry or curry chicken? One. Ask your family about that. John, congrats on the move.
Thank you.
One thing I want to bring up, if you guys have watched the Challenger documentary yet.
Which documentary?
The Challenger documentary, where Christian was talking about it. It had one of the newscasters at that time actually refer to an Asian astronaut as Oriental. I was really taken aback by that being somebody of Asian descent. And I was wondering if you guys have any opinion on, are documentaries supposed to be objective or subjective in some ways? Because I know John likes like biopics.
Yeah.
Do these things actually represent the truth? Because I know, like, I am a history buff, so I kind of read a lot of US history and stuff, and I could actually see certain points of views being represented that is not actually true. So that's my question. So that's about as quick as I could do it. All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, documentaries. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, brother. You're asking if they're objective or subjective.
Yeah, which do you prefer?
Yeah. If it's objective or subjective, because a documentary is supposed to be objective. A biopic, and on the other hand, might be subjective.
Yeah.
So is the difference between the fine line that you walk? Is my question.
Yeah. No, it is.
That should be opinionated at all.
No, it is a fine line to walk. But by the nature, honestly, of storytelling, you can't necessarily be objective. Unfortunately, it is going to be subjective. The perfect proof of that, go watch the 2 documentaries on the Fire Festival. One was just called Fire, I think, and that one was on Hulu. And then the one on Netflix, do you remember the name of it, John, off the top of your head?
Yeah, Fire Fraud is what it was called.
Fire Fraud, yep. So if you watch it, the Hulu one really is coming from these dudes were fucking evil, and here's how we prove it. And then Fire Fraud on Netflix was actually co-paid for by some of the people that worked for Fire that were like, look, man, it wasn't really just it was just Billy. Like, Billy's a piece of shit. Like, so like when you have that right there is a nice contrast, because it's 2 documentaries that came out virtually at the same time about the same thing, and they feel different. So you would hope, you want to be as objective as you can. But the nature of anybody, we can't escape our biases. We hope to do that. But by the nature of just being human, you can't necessarily fully, like, some facts are objective. And a lot of times in documentaries, the facts that are presented do give an objective, but the way you present it, the way you interview it, the order in which you do it, those are all subjective and do kind of paint a particular picture.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the subject.
Right. So what I was coming to the actual question is, so I look at American news because I trade online for a living. And I would watch one particular channel, I would see a certain point of view, and then I would watch another channel and I would see something totally different. So how do you delineate the truth in America? Because I like to watch the BBC, so I could understand from that point of view, because watching American news, is there any independent American news outlet actually now?
They're pretty divided now, but I would say your best bet, and it's annoying to do so, you're going to have to read or watch something 3 or 4 times. You're going to have to watch it from different sources. And your best bet to figure it out, because you seem like an intelligent guy, so you can kind of suss it out, but your best bet to figure it, if you read 4 different sources, are 3 of them saying one thing and one is saying the other? Is it a completely different on all 4 accounts? Is it a 50-50 split? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how you have to deduce it, is you kind of consider everybody's going to present a fact or a headline in a different way, and then piece together the puzzle based off of that. Yeah, that would be my advice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for stopping in, man. That was good to see you, bro. Respect. All right, I'm gonna hit some Streamlabs and then we'll drop one last live person, then we're out of here, Winston. I thanks so much for hanging on, man.
Yeah.
Deflated Brady said, "Swag, swag, drip, drip." Just giving you some love.
Yes,
Sean Berto said, "Showing my support to the Outlaw Nation and to Winston being on the show. I still want a beef patty." Oh, there you go.
Hell yeah. I want one too. Damn it.
Respectable OKC. He is an OKC defender. He said, It's a top 10 fastest growing city, one of the top cities selected for the new Tesla facilities by Elon Musk. I don't know if that's a good thing. The new Martin Scorsese film will be shot there next year. The list of reasons you should locate your business to Oklahoma City. Oh, Jesus.
I opened up a can of worms. I swear to God.
You did. He's waiting to come in live, too, to talk to you. So one last Streamlab. Kings, this from Cinema Gorilla. He says, Kings, thanks for always saying what needs to be said. Winston is manager of the year. I cried when you cried during the Andres match. Representation matters. Outlaws and blurs forever. Justice forever. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's bring on. It's always good to see you, Cinema. Thanks so much for sending the stuff in. And OKC, all right, man. We've been going for almost 2 hours and 40 minutes, so keep it short.
2 hours and 40 minutes, really? I just joined like 10 minutes ago. You've been going that long?
Damn, he put the hat on. He put the jersey on.
What you talking about? What you talking about? Huh? Are you talking about this one?
Oh, no. Here we go. Son of a bitch. Oh, man.
You gonna have me fucking change in the middle of the goddamn street.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Oh, you took, okay. All right.
Show us that belly, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting smaller. You see that? It's getting smaller.
Hey, it is, man. It is. That Washington workout, that prison workout's been working good for you.
My damn undershirt look like a bra now.
Here you go, Jay. Or I'm sorry, here you go, Winston.
What's that say? Cupcake. Oh,
cupcake.
Calling out.
I literally bought this jersey maybe a month before he left.
Oh, man.
And I was like, okay, all right, cupcake, that's getting put on. So I got to wear that at 2 playoff games in a row.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, man.
Oh, look at the baby. Aw.
What's up?
He's got 2 beautiful dogs.
Yeah, check it out. German Shepherd and then Pit Bull.
Oh, my God.
Yep. Yeah, this is Roxy and that's Lou.
Aw.
Yeah, they're awesome doggies.
Roxy and Lou.
Yeah.
Tail swinging. That tail swinging.
But you know what? All the trash you talk, man. All that hate you speak. You know what I got to say?
What's up?
I still love you, man. I still love you.
Thank you, brother.
I still love you.
I appreciate that. I really do. And the funny thing is, all the shit that I said, I was just talking about how OKC is just a boring ass town. That's it. I said I will go and visit when the COVID is calmed its ass down.
Right.
And I would love for people to show me around because that's the thing. It is a major city in Oklahoma. So there's nothing to say that it couldn't evolve and be the LA of Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it very well could be. Just when I went as a child, I was like, this is worse than Fort Worth, and Fort Worth is the devil. So I totally get it. But that was what? The last time I went was 2006.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but so much has changed.
Exactly.
So much. Yeah. So where I live is I don't know if you ever heard of Broken Bow. Yeah. So southeast Oklahoma, but in the last 10 years, property has went from literally maybe $1,000 an acre to almost $250,000 an acre.
Wow.
And I mean, Adrian Peterson comes down here to Hochtown all the time. What was the the Worm, man? The Worm owns property over here because he went to Southeast Oklahoma State.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then now we got our new boy. I think his last name's Jones. He went to Eastern Central, which is not too far from here.
Right.
But yeah, man. I mean, when we get some representation every now and then, but Oklahoma's great. Yeah.
Can we just all agree that South Dakota ain't shit?
Oh, hey, easy, man, easy. Easy. That's where Standing Rock is, man.
That's right. Well,
okay, fuck. All right.
Standing Rock was there before South Dakota was there. So.
Can we all just agree that Florida can go away?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes.
All right, there we go. Everybody can agree on Florida. There it is. Soul, I love you. I don't know if you hear, but Florida can go away.
Yeah, man. I lived there for 4 years. I liked my time there, but I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Miami's dope, but that was all I saw and Disney World. Other than that, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the state, fam?
Too many old people.
I'll go to retire there, man. Shit.
Do you got a question, brother, or do we? Or because we got a roll here. Do we have a question?
Yeah. No, I know you got to wrap up and everything. And thank you so much, Winston, for coming on, man. For real. It's funny, man. Like this little beef we kind of have. People have been asking for it. Like, oh man,
are you Tavisca?
I'm Tushka. Yeah.
It's Tushka. Yeah.
Tushka. Okay, word. All right. I figured they were the same.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, no, man, it's funny. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, man, OKC. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm kind of playing to it and everything. But
right.
But, man, hey, I love everything you're doing with MTS, with Schmoedown.
Thank you.
Drip, Drip. You guys are my second favorite team behind the Kirku Mercs.
Okay.
But what do you think the chances are of the Mercs actually getting into the top 3 by the end of the year? They're like 11 points behind, I think, you guys right now. You're at 42. They're actually 13 because they're at, I think, 29 or maybe a little bit more.
I think we're either at 42 or 45. I don't remember. But
I don't want to give too much away because there's more matches that haven't been updated yet.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, honestly, with Koi, the Kid, and Bibbs as your base, there's no limit to what they can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bibbs is always talked about as the most knowledgeable Schmoedown player that we have. So he is a former champion. I mean, the Kid is destined to be a champion in one form or another. Like, they can do some work. The fact that I mean, I guess it's not really a spoiler alert now because it's been over 24 hours.
Yeah.
But the fact that Perry took out Mike and kind of gave it to Mark. I mean, Mark won, but like it kind of gave it to him. That just goes to show the like gumption that they have. So what'll be interesting, since Shazam already has this title coming up, they have to win the team's title. That's the first thing. If they're gonna do it, they have to win.
Yeah.
The second thing is then they have to defend it. It's spectacular. And then the third thing is they need what their team is. What, Haley and Perry?
To come in the tournament. Yeah.
Fouch and Perry. Yeah. So the scary pair, scary. I don't know what they're calling themselves. I can't remember.
I don't think we've heard it yet, but yeah.
Yeah. They also need to go deep. If they need to at least make it to the finals.
Yeah.
And then we got to see what Bibbs and the Kid do throughout, because remember, they're still playing catch up. It's not to say that they can't, but if you do all of those, forget top 3, they could win. But you have to, everything has to click nonstop all the way to the end.
Yeah.
That's realistically, since they've been playing catch up like this, like the fact that Star Wars and InnerGeekdom played an equal playing field in this, and they got nothing out of that, they have to roll the rest of the way.
It's true. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Tushka. It's always good to see you, man.
Hey, thank y'all so much. And you are always welcome, John and Winston. You guys are always welcome to come down here to Oklahoma. I'll meet you in Oklahoma City. I'll meet you in Southeast, whatever. Show you a good time. But yeah, man, peace. Love y'all.
Get some good basketball players. I'll come down.
Later, play.
Respect, dude.
The Worm.
The Worm. It's true. I do love Rodman. All right. We got 2 more that came through, but we got to wrap up here, man. We got to let Winston go. He's got to sleep, for God's sakes. Where am I at? I don't even know. I'm so tired.
You got too many shows.
Oh my God. Brian Brawler says, how hard was it adjusting to LA and its culture? All I can answer with one word. It was hard initially, but if you stick it out and some things fall in your favor, you can stick around here longer than you think. I've been here 20 years and I'm making my own decision to leave. LA isn't kicking me out. I'm leaving. So I feel proud about that for sure.
I joke that it's like the smog is like a poison cloud. You need to come in with the gas mask. So whether or not you find it when you get here, you come in with it, and the gas mask is family, friends, a job that you love, whatever it is. As long as you have something to anchor yourself, you'll be fine. If you don't, you'll drown. That's
for damn sure. D-Train says, last one, is Star Wars the most overrated franchise of all time?
No. It is. I just did like some research for the IG show, and while movies wise, obviously MCU has overtaken Star Wars. Star Wars as a franchise, I believe, is like the top franchise as far as movies, books, toys, all that shit collectively. It's like the most successful franchise of all time. So no.
There you go. I agree with him 1,000%. All right, that's that last pearl of wisdom from Winston Marshall here. Winston A. Marshall here tonight on the Outlaw Nation Show. Winston, thanks so much, dude. 2 hours and 45 minutes, dude. You're incredible. Stick around this long for the fans.
No worries.
Please tell people where they can find you, where they can follow everything you're doing. And for those of you who are watching right now, please hit that like button. We're so close to crossing 200 likes. Please get us there. We're at 189. So 11 more likes will get us past 200. Winston, where can they find you?
Yeah, you see it right there at the Swaggy Blurred. That's Twitter, Instagram, Letterbox. I haven't updated that in a while, but I'll do that. Twitch.tv/the Swaggy Blurred. All that good stuff, man. And the Patreon, we're doing some good stuff, some more watch-alongs, all that good stuff. Tonight I'm going to bed early because I was up so early for this fumigator, but I will be talking to my admins about scheduling our next watch-along. But to answer a couple questions, the IG show starts on Monday for those that missed that earlier, so definitely come check that out. Blurreds is now 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday. I roll with this guy on Mondays as well for game time, so definitely check that out. I'll be on SEN on Thursday this week, so it's going to be a busy Thursday. It's going to be SEN then Blurreds like today, and then Swagback Thursday will be on Friday this week, only because again I have another casting director workshop I have to take care of, so I'll do that on Friday. Sunday I haven't announced yet, but I guess I can. Our guests for Swag Day Fun Day on this coming Sunday will be none other than Rachel Silvestrini and the Warfather.
Nice.
So definitely come through and play some Jackbox with us. It's going to be a damn good time.
Warfather.
Oh yeah, Warfather. But in general, just follow me here. At the very least, if that's all you do on Twitter and Instagram, it would mean the world to me, just because you guys see how hard I'm like hustling and pushing. I've said this on a couple other shows before. I lost jobs because I didn't have a big enough following. And I don't ever want that to be the case ever again. So if obviously help on the Patreon, Streamlabs on Blurreds, all that good stuff. I love all that, and it means the world to me that you do that. But if you just want to do the bare minimum for me, just follow me on the socials. That would mean the world to me.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely follow him and everything he's got going on, people. He is a great follow, good energy in the world. We need that nowadays. So give him some love. We're 7 away. We're 7 likes away, for the love of God. Can there be 7 of you who haven't hit the thumbs up button on this video? Please do it. And for those of you who are watching later, hit the thumbs up as well. Just because we might have crossed 200 doesn't mean we don't want to have more likes. So please, if you're watching this later and you enjoyed the show, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment as well. All the comments you leave, all the likes you leave, they elevate the visibility of this show and this channel so that more and more people can find it and come aboard and become a member of the Outlaw Nation, which I would appreciate. So please follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram again. And let me let Winston go, because I know he's got stuff to do, brother. Thanks so much for your time, my man. Have a good rest of your evening. It's always good to see you.
Love to all of y'all. Have a great night.
Peace. All right, there's Winston Marshall. So much fun having him on the show. He's a great energy in the world, man. I love hanging out with him and talking to him about everything that's going on in the world. And he was very kind to stay on for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you all so much as well for sending in all your Streamlabs and Super Chats tonight in support of the Outlaw Nation show. We had a fantastic night, so can't thank you enough for all the love and support you give this channel to keep it going, keep it fighting, and keep it being in there in the trenches. And hopefully one day blowing up to where it's a full-on outlet and we're getting multiple people working on multiple things and bringing you great content, bringing you great articles, bringing you interesting points of views, breakdowns, analysis, all that kind of stuff. That is the goal of this thing as we're building it out step by step. And you guys there at the beginning are the great things that we have in this world to make it happen. So thank you so much for being a part of the Outlaw Nation and being here involved with us. Don't forget, we got great shows coming up tomorrow. We got Geek Buddies coming on tomorrow. That'll drop later on in the afternoon. Also recording a new episode of The Jedi Way, which will drop Thursday, I believe. Thursday it'll drop, or Friday it'll drop. But we're talking about The Mandalorian. Laura Kelly and I, live episode of Impolite Truths on Thursday night, and of course Mornings with the Outlaw on Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. And then on Friday, Strong Style, the wrestling show, will be there live. Me and Aaron Turner talking about everything going on in the world of professional wrestling at 4 o'clock. So a lot of stuff happening here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Don't forget it. Thanks to Sean Barreto, who helped me produce the show today. And thanks to all of you once again. And please remember what I say at the end of every show. Whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year, please find your way to do it. You never know what's waiting for you on the other side. And I'm telling you, I am a living example. It just might surprise you. If you just hold on, find your way through it. I'm with you. The entire Outlaw Nation is with you. So come with us and let's keep moving forward together, hand in hand, and do something great in this world. All right. Much love to you. Take care of yourselves. Wear a mask. Be safe. Give love to yourself. Please give love to yourself. Amy, I'm sending that out to you. Give love to yourself and anyone else who's been feeling like Amy lately. Give love to yourself. There's no crime in that. And keep yourself well. All right. We'll talk to you next week with another live episode of Outlaw Nation. Until then, take care of yourselves. Peace.